You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You are tuned to Apartment 5B podcast, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad with me in effect as always. JR, the youngest in charge, R&B rep. What's good, bro?
What's going on? Good to be here.
No doubt. Got my brother Neltron out at NO. What's going on, bro?
Salute. Happy to be here, man. Happy to be
All right. We got my brother. Now, right now, we on different sides of the fence because the NBA right now. It's a lot of shit talking coming from his end. You know what I mean? I'm quiet during these times, but him, total opposite. Easy Money, what's going on, baby?
Peace, world. We here, man.
All right, no doubt. I always tell people I don't never really blow people up like that, but this is one of them few dudes who rhymes and he sings and he's dope at both. You know what I mean?
And
you really
always,
find that on some real shit. So just definitely want to salute you. Before we even dig in, bro, where can they get your stuff? Where can they get at you? Where can they support?
I'm at Easy Money ST everywhere. Even my Cash App and my Venmo.
I hear that, my G. I hear that. We already know me. Let's jump right into it, man. Topic this week. So I'm watching. I'm a huge Meek Mills fan. Meek Mills fan. So I'm watching this like freestyle, not a freestyle, because that's been a whole shit this week too with the freestyles. I'm watching a performance, okay, of Meek doing something. And I'm like, yo, this is dope. Like, yo, I can't wait for Meek to drop something. And I'm like, yo, I used to not like this nigga. Like, I literally did not like Meek Mills for years. And people would be like, but Kill, he's from Philly. Here's something I want to talk about. Where in your mind does it go that you gotta like somebody? Like, if Easy was like, yo, I don't like New Edition, there's nothing in my mind that'd be like, but yo, they from Boston, they from your area. My brain just doesn't go there. Like, if you don't like somebody, it don't matter if they live on my block, nigga. It's okay. Like, niggas be like, yo, how you like Jodeci more better than Boyz II Men? Boyz II Men from Philly. Nigga, I know. I just still like Jodeci better. But
hip-hop is very territorial.
And people will be like, well, but Kill Meek's from Philly or whatever. Now, here's the thing. Now, JR, you were asking before we started where it came from. So, of course, it started with the Meek situation. Now, I was telling JR that I've been a music snob sometimes throughout life. So especially around 97, 98, hip hop was at this divide. I call it the Swiss beat era. You know what I mean? You had the boom bap backpackers, sample dudes like me who was hearing Swiss's beats and was like, yo, this is whack. I'm not checking for that. So there's a lot of music I didn't listen to during that time, just being a snob. That throughout time I've been, I've come back to be like, yo, I really like this stuff and things like that. So for me, that's why this assignment of the show is about 5 artists that you didn't like at first, but now you like. What didn't you like about them at first and why do you like them now? So I could just stick with Meek. With Meek, I think it was just like he never was boom bap for me. Like Meek kind of was in that, I don't even know what phase you would call it in hip hop, where it was just like, I don't even know what you would call Meek. Like, what would you call Rick Ross? Because Easy, what do you call Ross? Because he's not boom bap when I think about Ross.
I just call Rick Ross. I call Rick Ross fire, man. I fuck with Ross music hard.
Yeah, no, I fuck with him too.
That's it, man. But you mean, and that's the beauty of it. I feel like Ross is one of the guys that's very well balanced, so you can't really box him.
Right.
And I feel like Meek fits there too, like in the same vein as, the Bigs and the Jays. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're very well balanced. Elise, my baby. Hey, mama. Right? So like they're very balanced. They're very balanced. So I would say that.
I was about to say let's start the show over because at least I want to give her a proper introduction. But Easy's love right there, just so anything of restarting the show and everything like that. So
she know what's up.
What's up, Elise?
Oh my God. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. Like all my people never trying to. I didn't know you was gonna be over here too.
Yeah,
I kept it quiet.
You know we had to bring you through. But Easy, I know what you're saying. Like, and now I see that. I think you know what it was. You know how like when Jay started, Jay was boom bap. You know, Reasonable Doubt was a boom bap album, and then he started to again that third album, Hard Knock Life. Again, when the Swiss kind of played in, I remember being at Morgan, and that was like the first time like I saw a split in hip hop. Like I saw a lot of people who loved that album and a lot of people who didn't like that album. You know what I mean? Because it was kind of, at least with the second J, we still had Streets Is Watching, Where You From, you know, 1,000,001 Questions, which was still boom bap. And then the other half was him trying to kind of find himself. You know, by that third album, and I mean, I think, what's my man's name? God, he talks about it. How like Jay would now all of a sudden be coming up on the Rough Riders floor in Def Jam. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all working on up here? And like, let me grab some of these Swiss joints. So like that. So I say all that to just say that Meek just never fit boom bap with me like that. So I never was a big fan. But then I think I call these things like it's like a radio silence. Like there's certain times, and I don't know if y'all feel this way too, where it's like, there's just nothing out, which sounds crazy because there's always new music out. But it was just a time when Nut was really out and I was looking for something to listen to. And I heard this Meek joint off his album, Expensive Pain. And I was like, yo, that shit kind of dope. Then I listened to the album. I love the album. Whatever year it dropped 2 years ago was like a top 5 album of the year for me. And now I love Meek Mills. Like, I'm a fan. And when I define fan, I mean like I buy your shit. Like, you know, like I literally went out and like found someplace that was selling the Expensive Pain CD. Like if there's a Meek show, I'm going to the show. Like, cause people be like, I'm not a fan. They be like, you don't fuck with them. I'm like, no, I like them. But to me, a fan is somebody who I put my money behind. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, that's how I define being a fan. Like I will buy your album. I'm gonna find a physical copy. If you're coming to town, I'm gonna go to your show. I may buy some merch. So that's my first one, Meek. Why I didn't rock with him, why I rock with him now. Elise, we would have started with you, ladies first, but you're here now. Who is an artist that you didn't used to rock with and you do now, and where'd the change come from?
Oh man, I gotta go first.
Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm just, hey, my mother raised me right. Ladies first. So we can come back to you.
I definitely appreciate it. Come back to me.
All right, no doubt. JR, who you got up first?
I'm gonna start with my only hip hop one. It was Outkast.
Okay.
And y'all all know where I get my hip hop from, which is my dad. He wasn't the biggest Outkast fan, so it was like songs that I knew from them, like Get Up and Get Out, that record, and it was just country to me. They sounded country, and me being a New Yorker, it was just like, it's the New York in me that I just couldn't. I was just like, nah. So then we moved up to New York, back up to New York, and I heard Elevators, and I loved it, which that was country as hell. So I'm like, you're weird as hell, because you go back up to New York and you like this country record, you know what I mean? But after that, I really paid attention to them when they came out with, what is the third album called? Promenade? Yes. And they came out with Rosa Parks, and I was like, oh no, I'm not doing this. I was like, I don't like the song. I was like, yeah, this is some weird, I ain't with it. So then y'all did a show, Apartment 5B did a show on Outkast. And y'all literally made, and this was in 2018, and I've never heard a full Outkast album before. So after that episode, me watching the episode, I say, yo, I'm about to listen and go through each of these albums and like see, you know what I'm saying, bang with it. Because I'm sorry, my mom got me Love Below and Speaker Box for Christmas in 2003? Yes. Yep. And she got it, and I was like, all right, it's cool, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, whatever. But everybody talking about how Andre is so dope and all this. He was displaying that artistic stuff on there, so I want the rhyme. So after y'all episode, I went and listened to it, and I was like, what the fuck was I missing? Like, for real. Like, and I lived with each of those albums for like literally about 3-4 months. I lived with all these albums. And when I did, I was like, yo, they are dope. They are dope. And I'm a fan of them. So like every couple of weeks, I'm like, yo, I'm listening to Outkast, which my favorite is ATLiens. That's my favorite. But I love them. I'm a fan. I like even it's crazy, the album that my mom got me is the least album I like now. Like all the other ones before there, I like.
But you know what, bro? That to me, that ain't even an Outkast album. You know what I mean? That was like,
you did say that on the episode too. Though.
Like whoever A&R that album is A&R of the decade, because if they would have put those out separately, there's no way they sell 10 million records. You know, but it was the double album. They freaked it like that because if 3000 would have just put out Love Below, and then 2 months later, Big Boy would have dropped, you know, Speaker Box. It wouldn't have blown like that. It was both of them together. So it's not shocking that you're saying that because it really isn't an Outkast album. You know what I mean? So you know, it's almost like
Outkast on the cover.
Right.
Yeah, it's like when your parents break up, but you don't know they broke up yet, just so they can stay together for the house.
Right.
When you graduate high school and everybody's so happy, and you think it's because you graduated. It's like, no, nigga, it's because we can leave each other now. Like that's what that album was. You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely dope. Now, Tron, what about you, good brother?
Since you started in Philly, I'm gonna go with Beanie Sigel.
Okay.
So I first heard him on the Roots, Things Fall Apart.
Right.
And
Adrenaline.
Adrenaline. He was like something macking them, and I'm like, wait, this is not Dice Raw, this is not Rozelle, this is not Malik. So I'm like hating on the dude, and I'm like, man, I ain't. And you know, I was into the backpack rap. Like you said, there was a separation.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, this dude gangster. I want to be more in the common vein. But when I heard the Becoming fam.
Yeah.
When I was overseas and some of my partners was playing the Becoming, I'm like, yo, this is ill. And it was like, that's Beans, man. He been out. And I'm like, but the whole album, man, I play that album at least 4 or 5 times a year.
Right here. 5 mics right here.
When I heard the what's the Jay-Z song he got?
It's on. It's on.
Yeah, once again, it's on. And when Beanie said, you shoot like fast forwards on or something, he's got it. Just Beans just killed that. All the features were good. The Redman, the Heavy D beat, Feel It in the Air, the one he did with Petey Crack.
Yeah, gotta have it. Everything on here. If people watching haven't heard this is a 5 mic album right here. One of my favorite top 5 albums out of Philly hip hop for me right here. So
yeah, so that Beanie, at first I was like, nah, I'm not feeling dude. But when I heard it Becoming, I was like, yo, I'm a fan. And then I went back and listened to his mixtapes and just his freestyles. I'm like, Beans is, and it's so unfortunate that he lost his voice. But if the AI can do Beanie, I'll listen to Beanie if the AI can.
Really?
You know what I mean? Just to get his voice, like the DOC, Beanie, anybody who lost their voice, like, yeah, the AI come through on that. But everybody else, nah, sit down. So yeah, Beanie's my first choice.
Yo, the funny thing about that, bro, is that I think a great point that you bring up is that a lot of times it's just how you hear stuff. You know what I mean? So you hearing him on the Roots first, and you expecting, you know what I mean, a Roots type dude, you know what I mean? Versus when I heard him, I'm looking for the name of Crew Love. I heard him on the Belly soundtrack with Crew Love first. And when he did that whole Monopoly thing, I was in. I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? Oh, he from the Crib too? Oh, that's crazy. So it's just funny about how you get introduced to music differently. Like, you know what I mean? Can, you know, move things like that. But that's dope. That's dope. I'm glad you're a fan of Beans. To me, he's dope. What's up, Easy?
I got a question for y'all. Y'all didn't hear Reservoir Dogs on Hard Knock Life? Because that was before the Roots and all that.
Yeah.
That was before Belly too?
That's 90. Well, I don't know, but I know it was before the Roots. It was
Belly
98.
was out first.
Belly might have been first.
90 and 98.
Reservoir Dogs, 98.
Yeah, but Belly came out in like the summer of 98.
Okay.
And then
but I know it was before the Roots though. I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, the first time I heard him was that Crew Love. And when he did the Monopoly thing, it was a rap. I was
let's also add that Beans was regularly going blow for blow with Prime J.
Oh yeah.
Regularly.
Oh yeah.
Like, yo, that It's On joint.
Come on, bro.
Yo, listen, I have.
He got him. To me, he got Jay. He's got Jay a couple of times.
Listen, I take you out this world like you was born. That's it. That's it. But I argue with
no, but
people.
Easy got finished it. Butt naked and blood, gasping for air. Like,
yes.
Oh man. Like, how you gonna talk about you taking somebody out the way you came into this world? Like,
and Jay was wilding on that too. That's
yeah, Jay went in too. Jay went in too. Yeah, Prime Siegel was a problem, man.
Oh my god.
Easy, what you got up first, man?
Neltron, I'm going your way, and I'm going with Lil Wayne. I'm going with Lil Wayne. You know, he came in young. You know, the whole, you know, I like the Back That Ass Up record until Wobbly Wobbly. Back at that point,
that was a video version.
A lot of people say that.
I appreciate
that wasn't
the
album version.
But you know, but you know. So check this out. I could almost say Juvenile as well, because when Hard dropped, I didn't understand it, but it grew on me, and then I enjoyed his album. But I didn't come around to Wayne though until the Carter One, right? So my cousin is like, "Yo, this Lil Wayne album." I'm like, "Yo, what?" Like, you know, I'm laughing at him. I said, "Why are you listening to this shit?" He goes, "No, you gotta hear this shit. He's going crazy." So, you know, I said, now me, I was a very super avid, you know, music collector. Like, I bought everything on CD. Like, before I heard it, whether I liked it or not, I just bought it. I was just an avid CD collector, you know what I mean? Some motherfuckers smoke crack, I bought CDs, whatever.
Wow.
So I went and bought it.
Crack. I buy CDs.
You know, everyone got their drugs, you know what I mean?
Not on tonight, like
everyone got their drug, you know what I mean? And music is mine, right? So I put this shit in, bro. And I was like trying my hardest not to like it. And I just couldn't front on it. Carter One Wayne, you know, y'all might not agree, but that shit is elite, and I feel like he got even better with Carter 2. You know, I heard the whispers about, you know, people in Philly might have had a hand in that, but whatever. Carter 1 is when I came around to Wayne, and you know, he went on to become undoubtedly one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, if we're being completely objective, he's, you know, one of the greats. So I just, you know, watching his growth and his evolution was wild to me, because I just wasn't interested in the least bit. And you know, there was a time where I was checking for everything he did, like, you know what I'm saying? Starting with the Carter 1, and he had what, like 3-4 albums before that?
Yeah,
2?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Block is Hot, 500 Degrees.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And then he came with that. Yep.
Before he was when he started, he wasn't cursing at all. No tats, no cursing. So yeah, I've seen being from the crib, I've seen his growth, and you know, so
yeah, man. Like he I gotta go with Wayne off top, because you know what he's done, and how much I fucked with him, you know, as time went. You know, that's probably an unpopular pick, because he ain't boom bap kill whatever.
No.
You know,
I mean, here's the thing. It goes back to what Neltron was saying. I never really fucked with Wayne because I knew him from when he was really a little kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, that's how I got put on to Wayne. And then niggas like, yo, Wayne is dope. And I'm like, this little kid motherfucker? Like, nah, bro, I'm good. I'm a pass.
Yeah, no, I was on the same boat.
Yeah, you know, so I totally get it. Nah.
Yeah.
Yo, the funny thing, I'm looking at this, the liner notes of this, because I ain't read it in years. And on the back, they got all the albums that's coming out. And it got the Rel, long time coming. And it's like, yo, we never got that Rel album, man. Like,
I wanted that like, too.
Yo,
man.
I'm like, yo, I remember reading this, like, oh, yo, we finally gonna get a Rel album. And shit, what, 20 years later, still ain't got no Rel album, man. Y'all, they need to leave that.
We about to get the other Rel. We about to get your Philly Rel.
Yeah. We about to get Rel, but. You know what I mean? But yeah, we still need that Rel album, man. Elise, what's going on? You ready for us, miss?
I am ready.
All right.
So I'm going with a hip hop one. Mine is MF Doom.
That's one of mine too.
Yeah, cause I remember, back in what 99 or whatever, and people was trying to get me to listen, and I would listen, and I just didn't get it. Like, I don't know, 90s at least wanted a whole bunch of fucking, Jay-Z, a bunch of coke rap like that, I just want some Mobb Deep. Like, that was my lane. So it was like all this going on, and I just didn't really get it. And then once I heard like Mad Villainy and the Food album, then I started catching a song here or there, and then I finally like sat down and like digested it, and I was like, oh, my ears just wasn't receptive to that at that time. But now, like, I can see the artistic, and I can see like a lot of the wordplay, and I was like, oh, I get it. So
that's dope. It's funny, I had Doom too. And again, how I heard him, I'm KMD. You know what I'm saying? I'm Mr. Hood. You know what I mean? I'm Peach Fuzz. I'm, that joint, the Guy Squad with Brand Nubians and everything like that. So, after Sub Rock, God Bless the Dead passed away, I know he kind of went on hiatus, and then he came back. And I just wasn't ready for the Doom mask. Like, when he came out with the mask, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, nigga, this ain't wrestling. Like, this hip hop, my nigga. Like, why you got a mask on? Like, so again, I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And then it was just like, and of course, Mad Villainy, that pulled me in because it's Mad Lib, you know what I mean? Up that album. But it's funny, one of the things I love about Naomi found Doom on her own and would be in here playing Doom records, and she would be playing the Food album. And I was like, one day I walked by and I'm like, yo, what you listen to? She's like, oh, MF Doom. She got posters of Doom on her wall. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about her, is that it's not like I schooled her to Doom. Like, she found that nigga on her own and really put me on to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I love that shit, Hoe Cakes. Like, I love that shit, And at that time, when it came out, I know the snobbish kill would have been like, you just sampling Anita Baker and then sampling JJ Fad Supersonic. Get the fuck out of here. Shit. I know I would have done that at that time if I would have heard that, because again, I got all these records, you know what I mean? So I just wouldn't have been ready for it. But now listening to it now, I'm like, yo, that shit kind of crazy. You know what I mean? Like with the Supersonic, and it's not even tracked right. Like, it's not even, if you listen to it, it's not like, JR know, he been in the studio with me. I'm making sure everything is, the loop is connecting and this is connecting. It's not even any of that, but now I love it. But I know if you would have played it for me back then, I would have been like, get this bullshit out of here. I ain't playing that,
That's what I love about Doom. He was so unconventional.
Yeah. He
was unorthodox. When I first heard Doomsday, it was after Katrina and my boy in New York. I was in New York and he played Operation Doomsday. So I'm hearing Sade, I'm hearing The Deal, I'm hearing The Finest, the SOS Band. I'm hearing all these samples. So I'm like, let me get this dude to listen. I got bit early by Doom. So yeah. But I understand what y'all.
That's dope. Next person I got up, again, one of my favorite rappers right now, Cameron. I was not a big Cam fan when he first came out. You know what I mean?
Either.
I wasn't, and again, this is that split in hip hop. Like, you're running with Mace. I didn't know Murder Mace, so let me start by saying that the only Mace I knew was from Bad Boy. So I didn't know about Children of the Corn or Murder Mace and none of that stuff. I just knew the Kool and the Gang, green fucking Wiz, the colors green, fucking Mace. That's the only Mace that I knew. You know what I mean? So, and then when it came out with Horse and Carriage, I didn't even know what the fuck they were talking about, so it just wasn't my shit. I did fuck with That Would Mean the World to You, but I think that was on his second album, SDE. I'm not sure. So I didn't really fuck with him, but then my man White from Jersey was working for Rockefeller, and he gave me the 12-inch, he gave me the CD single for Oh Boy. And I played that shit, and I was just like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like, I remember him telling me, like, yo, this shit's gonna fuck you up. And when I heard that, I was just like, yo, I'm all in. And then Come Home With Me, the album, been a fan ever since. Love the sports show he's doing with Mace right now. Even I don't know if cats have seen it, they gotta join him, Mace, and Kiss got a joint that's kind of like the intro to the sports show. That's dope. But I love Cam. I love this joint up there with Flex. He got like 30 niggas in the bag, girls just sitting around smoking weed in the bag. You know, I fuck with Cam heavy now, but that's why I didn't fuck with him in the beginning. Now I forgot my R&B one. Fantasia. I was not a Fantasia fan when she first came out. I think it was the Lisp. You know, you weren't either, Elise?
Me neither.
Yeah. I don't know who it was.
And that's North Carolina, and I still was. Now I was mad, proud of her for like winning American Idol, all that. Like I like the idea of her, but I wasn't rocking with musically yet.
Right. And me either. I wasn't with the American Idol shit. The Baby Mama, I was like, oh, you one of them black you for the hood. This gonna be the hood. You the hood anthem, like. And then of course she came out with that song that everybody loves. What's that joint, JR? Her biggest song.
Free Yourself.
Not Free Yourself. I like that. Is that the joint?
When I see you.
I like that. Free Yourself. I like. Here's the thing. I didn't like it at first, but what made me like it was Cedric making fun of her with the lisp. If y'all remember Cedric,
he did.
He's making fun of her singing with the lisp. And I was like laughing so hard at that it made me actually like that. But then the When I See You, that shit got me. And then I know you don't like this album, JR, but the Side Effects of You, I love that album. Like, love that album.
That's nice.
Beautiful gowns, right? Okay, Aretha, beautiful gowns. I know. I love that album. Like, I love that album.
I'm not gonna stunt. She do got some songs on there that I do like, but I just think Fantasia just can't make a great album. Her and Jennifer are the same way. The same way. They can't make albums at all. Like, after a while, you like, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but what makes them win, what Fantasia win is she's, and I'm gonna make a R&B pun that y'all probably won't get, but JR will. He like the winner ain't in her. As far as album, but I'll explain in a second. But she has the same
shit, like the winner ain't in her. Like
you gonna get it. You gonna get it.
You get it. She has as far as albums, mirrors albums of Patti LaBelle, where you're gonna get a couple hot singles, but the albums just don't curl over. And she has an album called The Winner in You. So, but it's the live show where they could perform any of them raggedy songs off the album and kill it and make people fall in love with them on stage. Right. And that's the thing. Like, you know, they have, you know, big singles, but the rest is kind of, yeah.
All right, that makes sense. JR, who you got up next?
Woo! Okay, we getting into the R&B. Okay. My first one.
Again, JR, real quick. You said this was a hard assignment for you, right?
It was. I had to think about some stuff for a second because I was just like, who I didn't like, because a lot of what my family played, I liked at first. But this is the artist that they didn't play and they didn't like, and even though they had the 8-track in there, was Chaka Khan. Wow. My family did not like Chaka at all. Wow. They didn't like her. So I didn't hear it a lot. So anytime anybody would say, oh, Chaka's this, Chaka's that, I'm like, nah, whatever. You know, and my family would give her so much fever, so I ain't paying no mind. So I opened up the China cabinet and I see that they had the 8-track in there of her debut. So I was like, I already knew some of the stuff from Rufus, so I was like, all right, whatever. But then I was like, yo, let me throw this in right quick. I'm not a fan of I'm Every Woman. I don't like it at all. I just don't. And then it got to Some Love on that album.
Listen.
I was like, what is this? I was like, what? Horns. How did I not like this? Like, how did y'all not like this? Like, and I would ask my mom and them why they didn't like it, and they was just like, my grandfather and them was like, we just don't like her. And my grandfather used to say he thinks she smells. That was one of them.
Like your grandfather knew her, or he just said she?
No,
like
he said it looked like she smelled.
Oh,
Like,
damn.
so
Oh,
obviously
Your
he
family
was
go
the
hard
one to
in the
bring.
paint, bro.
He would bring the records home, so that's what everybody would listen to. You know what I'm saying? But he obviously, I don't know where they got the 8-track from. They might have had a party, somebody brought it and they listened, whatever. But then I started going down a rabbit hole on my own. And then I started listening to Naughty and What You Gonna Do For Me, and then I Feel For You and all that. I'm like, shock of this shit. Like, what? What was I missing? So now for our show to have Mark come on and talk about What You Gonna Do For Me, it was just, I'm like, I'm a fan. You know, my mom now, when I play songs in the house and I'm like, yo, mom, I feel like hearing Clouds or something like that, she be like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. How you don't like this though? And she's like, I just don't. So they don't, but I do. But they didn't play it. So that's why I didn't really know Shaka's stuff like that. So, but I'm a big fan of her now. Like, for real. So, yeah, Shaka's
Makes sense.
Neltron, what about you?
All right, I'll do hip hop and R&B. De La. So Tribe was so strong. De La had Me, Myself, and I was 11, 80, when it came out, 88, 89?
88, like 89.
89, so I'm 11, I'm like, all right, Me, Myself, and I, all right. But as the years progressed through high school, college, I was like, Tribe is just killing it with the production. And it wasn't until the pandemic when I got into, they like really started sitting with them and listening to the interludes and Prince Paul, rest in peace, True God. And then I just started buying it and sitting with Balloon Mind State, Hip Hop is, De La's Dead, and Stakes is High. And I'm like, wow, these dudes was really spitting. Like Pasa News, True God, Dave. So De La, I don't know why, it was just, I guess Tribe was just, my ears gravitated toward the beats more. And I guess, but yeah, during the pandemic, De La, I'm like, okay, I'm a fan. And us losing True God was, you know, it makes me listen to it more.
Now, question, did you not like them at all? Like, you was like, I don't mess with them? Or they just were like behind, it was like Tribe, and then De La's just down at the bottom. Or did you not like them at all?
No, I just didn't sit with them. Like, and I, you know, it's not that I hate them. I knew what they represented, the native tongues, and I knew the importance of De La, but Tribe was just so powerful to me, and you know, I just slept on it, and you know,
it's almost like we did a show, Standing in the Shadows of Hip Hop, where it's like this group can't get shine because there's another group that's ahead of them. Like, you know, I feel like Goody would get more shine, but Outkast, it's kind of like Outkast kind of overshadows anybody else that was coming out from the dungeon. So it sounds like that's what you're like. Tribe just kind of overshadowed anybody else in the native tongues.
I love them now, man. I didn't bought. I have to pause on my wax buying because they starting to drop all the De La on wax, and I'm like, I'm gonna just stream it for now. But I bought all their CDs, so yeah, De La definitely.
Dope.
Yeah. And mine is the reason I was late. It was the same reason as Neltron. It was like I was so Tribe like focused that I kind of missed out. I would hear songs here and there, and it wasn't that but I guess because I didn't sit with it, I was like, what is these niggas talking about? Like, literally. And then when I finally sat with it, totally changed.
Yeah. It's so funny because it's just, I don't even know if it's a show, but it's always intriguing to me. Like, just again, it goes back to like with Neltron, what you were saying about Beans, and then how I was saying with Lil Wayne. It's like how, when you pick up on something, like how it speaks to you, because it speaks to us all differently at different times. You know, me being 15 in '89, like De La just blew my mind, like with the interludes and the skits and all that stuff, because we had never seen it before. But you getting on it later, you know, it's like skits, all the shit that dragged me in didn't mean the same, you know, for somebody coming up later, because it's not super duper inventive, because by somebody later on hearing, you know, De La, it's like, oh, we've heard skits, we've heard interludes. Whereas for us, we was like, yo, what the fuck? It's like a movie or a book or something, you know, we had never heard it before like that. So it's just so dope to me how different things pull different people in. Easy, what you got up next, bro?
I got a question, yo, because I'm a little confused with, like, you know, y'all said y'all was kind of like so in the tribe. Wasn't De La first?
Yeah.
They were, right?
Yeah. No, De La was first. But Neltron being 11, I'm just thinking at 11, what's that, 4th grade?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm
we
saying?
weren't the hip hop heads that was up on everything right away and shit. I get it.
No. 91 was when I really got into hip hop, which Low End came in and Midnight came in.
Right.
Now, anything before 91, I missed it because I didn't have no uncles or brothers, so it was just a slow burn for me.
Okay.
You know,
I always feel like it's that 10-year-old age, and that's one of the reasons why I love Combs. I used to love it when he starts off with, you know, met this girl when I was 10 years old, because I feel like 84 was the year that I fell in love with hip hop when I was 10, with Run DMC's, you know, Rockbox and their debut album. You know what I mean? So like you saying, 91 is your year, and Low End dropped in 91. So it's kind of like that's your foundation, you know what I'm saying, of hip hop starts with Tribe. You know what I mean? So I totally understand. I understand. What you got up, Easy?
All right, so I gotta hit y'all with a disclaimer real quick. I was wilding. I was wilding, but
there you go.
I think I got a pretty solid explanation. I didn't fuck with Usher, yo.
Oh, that's
and now he's like one of my favorite motherfuckers in history. But I think it was, so he dropped his first joint. He was very young, right? He dropped what was like 94, was it?
93.
94.
93. 93. Okay,
yeah,
so I'm 11 or 12, right? So I'm breaking out of, you know, the baby stages, right? So I'm watching my TV like, who's this Curious George looking motherfucker? Get him out of here, right? That's what I'm thinking, right? I remember this shit. Because he had little chubby cheeks. He looked just like Curious George to me, right? I'm like, yo, throw this shit away, B. Right?
Was it Just Call Me a Mac? Was it that song?
It was Think of You.
Oh, it was the joint when he's over there.
That's my shit.
No, it's my shit now.
Yeah.
You gotta, you know, it's the age thing, you know.
Right.
I'm breaking out of it, you know. I'm starting to grow hair under my arms and shit. Like I'm breaking out of the kitty shit, right? I'm like, get this cartoon looking nigga out of here, B. Like I couldn't do it. So it was very short lived because when, you know, You Wanna came out, that was a super duper smash, and I was doing it like. By that time, I was doing the dance where I was dancing my shit out of my sneakers and shit. You know, like in the video, I was doing all that. So it was very short lived.
I can see it.
Is there some video footage of you?
Right.
Out of your
shit right the fuck now. Be like, what you mean? Like I don't give a fuck. Do that shit right now, yo. Right. So it's like definitely wilding, but you know, I was young, man, because Usher's like. He's up there for me now, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I wasn't rocking with that at all. Like, you know, I'm not gonna act like I heard, you know, the entire first album at that time and nothing like that. But you know, just watching that video, and you know how it was, man, back in the day, the same shit get played over and over. So BT was running it and I'm like, oh man, not this guy again. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Usher, yeah.
All right, no doubt. I feel you. Elise, what you got up next, miss?
Mine it's an R&B one. Jody Watley as a solo artist.
Okay. Okay.
And Shalimar. It's interesting because Shalimar is one of my favorite groups of all time. And so I love Jody's voice. I love Howard. You know what I'm saying? But it is a silly reason why I didn't like her as a solo artist. The video for Looking for a New Love, they used to play it so much, and that video is long. And I just it just irked me, and it was just that song, and my mom didn't buy the record or nothing, so I didn't know any album cuts or anything. So that song wore on my nerves so bad that I just kind of dismissed her. And it wasn't until, you know, not a bunch of years later, but to where I was like, oh, wait a minute, I get it. You know, I like it. But just because they wore that one song out. And that song kind of dry to me anyway. Like, I still don't love that song. I like it. But it's a little dry. So.
And
now what made you like her? Like, Where did the change come?
I guess for older ears, and then I like the second album a lot better than the first album. It felt a little more creative. It felt, I believed it. I believed her.
That was the second album with Friends. Was that the lead single from the second album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and in the first one, the production was because like Dave time, you know, I mean, she did crossover. Like it's very popish. Like it's very like formulaic in a lot of ways, and which it wasn't as much on that second album. So it just felt more genuine.
All right, no doubt. Next up, I got J. Cole. I was not a fan of J. Cole in the beginning. And I think, again, it's these phases that hip-hop goes through. If you live long enough, you know, it's like my pastor used to say, young people, don't tune me out. If you live long enough, you will go through this stage. It's kind of like, it's so many phases. And when J. Cole came out, it was like this movement of he's the next one. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like between him and Kendrick and I guess Drake, it was like, these are the next ones. Like, and it's so funny because we always have those in hip hop. There was a time, especially with New York hip hop, where Saigon and Papoose was supposed to be the next one. They were supposed to be the saviors of New York City, and they were going to bring New York City rap back and everything like that. So my man Al would always tell me about J. Cole, and I would listen to his stuff, and I'm like, yo, it's cool. Like I like it, it's cool, but I don't see the next one. I don't see him being this MC that's just like overtaking everybody. And to this day, I'm a Cole fan now. I like Cole. I won't even say I'm a fan because I don't even know if I brought an album. No, I have. I did buy Born Sinner. Born Sinner is what made me like Cole. But it's funny because
a lot of people say that.
I'm stuck in the middle because I'm listening to Born Sinner and then I'm like, nigga, why are you rhyming over Electric Relaxation? Like, you know, or nigga, why are you rhyming over the Outkast? Oh God, artist storytelling beat. Like, so it's weird.
You mean the same way your boy Meek was rapping over What's Beef and Dead Presidents?
That was my beef. It's so funny that you bring that up. When that album came out and everybody in Philly was like, this is the shit. I was like, yo, he's rhyming over What's Beef. Like, and what's it called? What's Free? And then y'all acting like Jay just dropped the best verse ever. Anytime Jay-Z raps, somebody on Twitter is like, is this the best verse
ever? Oh
my
God.
Like, so it was just like, so no, the exact same issue I had, but I started to like Cole. But even now with Cole, I think Cole is dope, but I like Fonte 100 times. I think Fonte is 100 times better than J. Cole. So it's just crazy to me that it's kind of just like, I don't know how he positioned himself or how the powers that be positioned him to be one of the next up. And again, it's no
Jay-Z co-sign. It's a Jay-Z co-sign, bro.
So there you go. That's how you're positioned, because to me, Fonte is more talented than Drake.
I got a question for you though. Why the Fonte comparison? I feel like that was kind of random. Like what was I don't get it.
Well, no. I didn't even. Well, thank you, I didn't even put the two together. But I felt like he is one of the people who should be in that space. So it's kind of just like if you're saying like these are the next three, because it seems like that's always been it. It's always been J. Cole versus Kendrick, or it was J. Cole and Kendrick need to do an album together. Then it was kind of like J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. They're the top three people for this 2008-ish on generation. And I'm just like, yo, this nigga Fonte is like bodying two of these niggas in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I just felt like he deserved, it's almost like the all-star spot. It's like, yeah, he's good, but I feel like this person really deserves that spot even better. But like you said, Easy, it was that, you said it, that Jay-Z cosign that was just undeniable at the time.
I'm gonna tell you what it is though, right? And as much as we like to say sales don't matter and they mean nothing, mainstream popularity plays a part. When you're talking about the next one,
right? Whether
you like it or not, it is what it is. Like if you don't have that, they're not gonna put you there, right? Mm-hmm. So if that was the case, we'd be talking about guys like Conway and Ransom with Cole and them and Kendrick. You understand what I'm saying? It matters in that sense when you talk about the one, not who you like when you're being objective.
But the thing is you make a great point, because I'm thinking about, this was back to Friday Night Light Cole. when they were talking about the next one. But each one of the people I said had one of the most important cosigns. Drake's cosign was Lil Wayne, who was the biggest rapper on the planet. Kendrick's cosign was Dr. Dre, one of the biggest people on the planet. And Cole's cosign was Jay-Z. Exactly. So again, even before the sales, like you said, great point. All three of these people, and that's why I said in the beginning, I didn't even notice, y'all. I said
mainstream recognition is what I said, not really sales.
It was they were positioned to be the next ones. And Easy brought it home with all the cosigns, because each one of them had, I mean, you don't get a bigger cosign than Lil Wayne. You see what Dre did to 50 Cent. 50 was around before with how to rob and was with the Trackmasters, but then when you get the Dre Eminem cosign, now this nigga is, you know, selling so many records. So that is it. And the funny
those might literally be the three biggest ones you can get to. It's crazy.
Yeah, that you could get. And again, Little Brother has never had anywhere of a cosign like that. You know, I think the biggest cosign they got was Quest, which was a big cosign.
They get the love and respect, but I also believe, you know, I don't know them. I don't, you know, obviously don't know them personally, but I feel like it's an artistic integrity. They're content. They seem content where they are artistically, and they don't want to fuck it up. Right. And I think that's a big reason why I love what the fuck they do. Yeah. I can say that about them, you know? So that's what it is, you know what I mean? It's all give and take, and some artists are not willing to give, and you know, you just gotta respect it, man, you know?
Yeah. And then going into my R&B one, I got Amy Winehouse. And when Amy first came out, again, it's so funny we're talking about cosigns, it goes right into this. Quest gave her this huge cosign on OK Player, and it was like, she's the next one, and she's the next one, and she's the next one. And I heard her, and I didn't like her voice at first. Like, that was the thing that got me. Like, so again, like, I love Amy, but I'm never gonna sit here and say Amy is an amazing fucking singer. You know what I mean? So I'm expecting, if Quest is co-signing you, like, I'm expecting a Jasmine Sullivan type shorty. Like, if you're getting co-signed by Quest, I'm expecting you really, you're a real singer and you're singing, and I didn't get that. And then the first single I really didn't like, You Know I'm No Good. You know what I'm saying? But then I heard Rehab.
Wow. Okay.
I heard Rehab, and that just blew my mind. And it's funny, Nay's first song that she learned was Rehab. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which did not sit well with my mother, that grandchild walking around.
Man, she didn't even know what she was singing, man.
Right, yeah. But my mother's like, really, nigga? Like, this is the first song? But and I love Amy Winehouse. People know I love her to death. If you've never seen the documentary, watch the documentary. It's amazing. Amy's pen game was crazy, crazy, crazy. And she taught me to not make fun of people, because when Amy would be drunk on stage, me and my friends would be calling, you see a girl, she drunk, she this, she that, not understanding that the hell that she was going through in her real life. So when Ye be fucking up, or when I see people fucking up, just pray for them, y'all. Like, you never know what somebody's going through. And that Amy, I felt horrible when I watched the documentary and kind of saw all the pain that she was going through and everything like that. I felt horrible to be making fun of her every single time. Like, you know, it was
like the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman. He came out mad skinny. Everybody was roasting him.
Right. Yeah, like you never know what somebody's going through. So that's why when people be killing you, I'm like, look, man, the nigga done told you. Like, he said, I forgot what rhyme it was. He said something, you want to see a nigga when he not on his, he said some type of medication, and I looked it up, and it was for depression. It's like, you know, so. But Amy Winehouse, and I love Amy, but yeah, I didn't rock with her at first. JR, who you got up next, bro?
All right, which one I'm gonna go with? I'm gonna go with this one to get out the way. Peabo Bryson. I was not a fan of him because I did not like that Beauty and the Beast whole New World bullshit. I was not a fan of that, and then I wasn't a fan of the Roberta and him Celebrate My Love. I didn't like that either. Like, I just was not a fan of him until...
Wasn't that Aladdin, JR?
Yes, Aladdin, him and Regina Bell.
Yeah.
That's true.
You really had to show the vinyl, you jerk. I can't, like, I hated that. But then I remember Kiss played Can You Stop the Rain? And I was like, yo, this dude. And I'm like, who is this? I was like, that's Peabo Bryson. Oh, snap. And I was like, okay. And then that sent me down a rabbit hole. And Peabo, man, he got some good albums he came out with in the 70s for real. But again, nobody paid attention to it at all. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get the push. Like, he's the original of Feel the Fire. He wrote the joint and he did it. But everybody knows Stephanie and everybody knows Teddy Pendergrass and Stephanie's version. So
now tell me this: why do you think he didn't blow up in the 70s? Like, what? Give me some background. What label was he on? Is it?
It's just the fact that it was so many males. You had Al Green that was killing it during this time. You had Teddy that was about to go solo for real. So it was that, and then of course, who's coming in? These new guys named Prince and Michael. You know what I mean? Going solo. So it was very hard for him to get that shine that he should have gotten. That's why it's kind of like, he kind of reminds me of a Donny Hathaway, to be honest. Because as much as we love Donny Hathaway, he's more known mainstream for his duets with Roberta. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So mainstream know him for Where's the Love. We all know Donny for all that other stuff. You know what I mean? But mainstream only know him for that. And it's the same with Peabo. You know him for his, thing with Roberta, his duet with Celine Dion with Beauty and the Beast, and then you know A Whole New World. A lot of people don't know I'm So Into You. A lot of people don't know Feel the Fire. A lot of people don't know any of that. So for me to go back there, now I can listen to A Whole New World and kind of sway and sing along to the shit now. You know what I mean? Because before, as a kid, I would be like, no, I don't like this. This shit is bland as shit. Like, it don't do nothing for me. But now, going back to it and listening to all of it, he's dope, man. He's dope. And people can sing his ass off. You know what I mean?
One of the cleanest voices to ever do it. Like, it's
clean.
Just no flaw. It's scary. It's like scary good. Yeah.
Like, I would recommend, if y'all want to go back and listen to those albums he did in the 70s, like Reaching for the Sky and Crosswinds and those, like, go listen to those and you could just see the clearness in his voice. So then when you listen to Can You Stop the Rain, it's like, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, you could tell with those duets, it was a mission. It was what they wanted him to do. And he was that guy. They was trying to make him the John Legend before the John Legend. Yeah, they make him. You know what I'm saying? But now it was just like, I think people was like, nah, I ain't trying to go that lane. I know what y'all trying to do. Y'all trying to make me be the token black guy to come to every award show and do all that. And he like, nah, I ain't doing that. So I think after A Whole New World, that was it. We ain't get no more of that shit. So, but other than that, I'm a fan of this dude. Like, his new album that came out in 2018, I loved it as well. So, it produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. So, yeah.
I didn't even know he had a new album.
Me either.
It's dope. All right. Now, Tron, who you got up next?
I might get some hate for this, but Wu-Tang. It was 92. Cream, we had the record station, Q93, played they played Cream, and it was Slam It or Jam It, like y'all got in Philly and New York and in Boston. So everybody was like, slam it, they not playing it, so I didn't hear that for years.
No, you said they slammed it?
They didn't like it.
Wow.
What? Cream?
Didn't like Cream. They didn't like it. So, like, all right, I'm out, you know. I heard it, but I'm like, damn. So I didn't hear it after that. So fast forward to Brooklyn Zoo. I'm watching Rap City and Brooklyn Zoo comes on. I'm like, wait, who's this dude putting boogers inside the building on the wall? Who's got the gold teeth and wildin'? So actually, if it wasn't for Old Dirty, I listened to that album, then I went to Tikal, then I went back to Wu, and I was like, okay, I get it now. The Kung Fu, the 5%, you know, the Cypher God, mathematics, and all that stuff. So yeah, Wu-Tang was not on my radar when it dropped. And then so Old Dirty got me into Wu-Tang, and I was like, yo, I've been a Wu head ever since. So
again, bro, I think this is going to be the whole topic of this whole thing, is that when you talk to people and you realize their age, you understand things better. You know what I mean? Because again, when I first heard Wu, it was the karate shit. It was the, oh shit, these niggas using karate joints. You know what I mean? Like we used to watch on Saturday mornings and everything like that. So for me, and I think my age group, it was kind of like, oh, this is like the best of all the dope shit we like type thing, you know? But again, understanding from you hearing it later on, you know what I'm saying? It could be like, I could see somebody now listening to Wu right now being like, yo, why they got karate movies in there? This shit sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Because so it's just so bugged to me how your age, or me and Dante Ross were going back and forth, because he was saying how whack Beat Street was. He was like, man, that movie was shit. And I'm like, nigga, you bugging. You know what I mean? He was like, nah, because we was already b-boying and I was doing graph and we seen Wild Style. And I was like, well, that's the difference, my nigga. You obviously are older than me, because at 10 years old when Beat Street came out, that was my foundation for graffiti and breakdancing and all of that shit. I wasn't breaking before Beat Street. I wasn't tagging in my school notebooks before Beat Street. Now, if you're 16 living in New York and you already tagging and breaking and you've already seen Wild Style, I didn't see Wild Style until after Beat Street. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't available for, at least in Philly. I didn't see it till, if I saw Beat Street in 84, I probably didn't see Wild Style till maybe 89, 90. You know what I mean? So again, age plays. I can understand where he's coming from, but you got to understand where I'm coming from with Beat Street is my foundation. You know what I mean? So it's just, age just plays such a huge makeup of everything. And that's why arguing with people on Twitter is so useless, because if you really don't know how old a person is, you really can't understand where they're coming from, even if you are trying to understand it. Easy. What you got up next, bro?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, my fault. You got an R&B? Yeah, what you got?
I had Khalees. When she came out with that there. Oh, when she was, I saw the video. And she was screaming and screaming.
It's
and
the same song, Kill. It's the same song.
Okay.
Right. So I was like, I don't get it. But then I bought the album and my boy played Get Along With You. I Just Want to Get Along With You. And I'm like, wait, hold up. So I had to go back and listen to it. And I'm like, okay. And then I heard Mars. Then I heard a second album with 3 Stacks called Millionaire. And I'm like, she's not bad. I don't know what happened with her and Nas.
That's right there.
What? The Millionaire? What's that? Yeah. Yeah. So Khalees is my R&B joint.
I think me and Elise agree with this one. I don't know if y'all do, but we feel like Pharrell's best, the Neptune's best production is with her.
Oh, word? I've never heard a Khalees album, so I couldn't even say.
Oh, okay.
Go back.
The shit is heat.
I heard the I Hate You. I was like, I'm good. You're screaming. I don't.
That's what had me.
Yeah. And it's like they made that a lead single because it got attention, but it actually did turn a lot of people off because they thought that that's what she did, and she don't do that at all on that album except on that song. Like nothing. There is no song like that song on that album.
It's
not a one.
Like Southern Hummingbird when Tweet came out with Oops, and then you get the album and it's not that at all. That was just to get you.
The only time I love Oops, and I wanted
you can't be rubbing it out the whole album anyway. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's real.
Like,
that's real.
Kill, we gotta. He's taking place a gadget.
I swear, it's like everybody just comes on and just takes this sex thing and just runs with
it.
It's like a baton.
We adults, man. We have sex.
Oh, the BPMs,
Okay. All right. Now I got to check. So the Neptunes produced her whole first and second album, or just this first two?
The first and the second.
Okay, and y'all like the first. You're saying that album has.
I like Khalees. Period. Like
but when you were saying that she has the best Neptune production, is that on
yes?
The first?
Yeah. The first and the second. Yeah.
The first one. All right.
I gotta go back because I really like what they did for Justin Timberlake, but whatever.
Yeah. Milkshake. I did like the video. That's about where we stopped.
I can't fuck with that.
What you got?
You know what?
Hey, real
Milkshake
quick.
On that album, I'm trying to think. I don't think no song sound like Milkshake on the rest of that album.
It didn't. So they pulled the same thing again. Like, you know
but I think the dope thing about Milkshake was, I think too, the video to me was dope. Having Nas in it, being in the diner, like to me, that's when videos could help really sell a song. You know what I mean? Because that was like dope. It's like, oh, you're fucking with Nas. Oh, Nas is the cook. You know, the little ding. You know, so if I felt like that was dope. But yeah, Easy. What you got up next, bro?
Hey, JR, I noticed that you took off for a brief moment there. Are you happy? I know why you left.
No, why I left?
You didn't. I thought you was doing your victory dance for the Knicks.
Oh no, absolutely not. Because I still don't like. I'm not impressed. I was not impressed. So no.
You got it done though.
A win is a win, but I'm not impressed.
See, I thought you was like DVR in it or something like that. So I ain't know.
Oh no, I've been turned it off after the third quarter.
He gonna get on Twitter and they gonna spoil it anyway, man. There ain't no time for that.
Yo, bro, quick story, man. It was, oh god, this may have been like 99. And the Sixers was in the playoffs. I want to say we was playing Orlando, and I used to get off work at 9 o'clock at the radio station because I had to engineer some of our talk shows. I got home, got a grub, everything, about to sit down, watch the game. I taped it. I'm like, bet, let's go. I'm like, let me check my answering machine. My homegirl Kim, we did it. We fucking won. I'm like, this motherfucker. Cool, no problem. Fast forward 2 days. Bet, we're good to go. I'm not answering phones. I'm not doing nothing. I am chilling. This before me and T was dating. So she used to work at the radio station too. So I'm in her office and I'm like, nobody can find me in here. Nobody can tell me shit. We are good. Somebody calls her phone. She answers on speaker. My man Kaz. Yo, Tanya, what's up? Nothing, it's Kyle. What's up? Killing there? Yeah. Kid, we fucking did it. We won. I'm like, God fucking damn. I cannot anybody ruining a game for me. It's like, y'all obviously, God does not want me to watch these games. That's why I used to hate getting off work at 9 o'clock at night. I'm sorry, Easy. What you got up next, bro?
So it's funny listening to Nell because, you know, he said Beanie Siegel and then he said Wu-Tang. So like I wanted to fight him, then I wanted to fight him even more. But then I'm thinking about my picks, right? Because he's in the South. And I'm thinking about my picks, how I said Wayne first, and then now I got Goody Mob. So like that whole regional thing, kind of like how that shit worked. So Goody, I didn't get it. And the wild thing was, you know, when I was younger, I was very big on the cadence. You know what I'm saying? I wanted everybody I listened to have a polished flow. I wanted everybody to sound like Big, like Jay, like Nas, like Method Man. Like I wanted that flow to be polished. Like when I heard them dudes rap, that to me that shit was like, you know, like you pouring water into a glass. It just you know, water goes to the shape of whatever you put it in. Goody was just so unorthodox and so like southern and country that I was like, what the fuck is this shit, right? And then you fast forward now, man, I listen to Soul Food and I'm like, yo, this shit is just brilliant, bro.
What was the first song you heard? Easy?
It was that Who's That Peeking in My Window, right? Because yo, Rap City used to burn that shit to death. Then I found out they was located in Atlanta. It all made sense because they used to play, I remember they played Elevators out too. But yeah, like they were, you know, where Outkast took some, was an acquired taste for a lot of people. Not for me. I like Outkast from the get. Like I loved, you know, Players Ball. I loved, you know, Elevators. Rosa Parks did have to grow on me though.
It grew on me. I didn't like Rosa Parks. I'm from the South. I'm like, this is some real country shit.
You know, but I love it now. But you know, Goody, I was like, I don't know, man. Like even like the hook. Like I didn't get it. I couldn't appreciate the genius of it at that age. And you know where I was what I was growing up around, you know? Because Big has been my favorite rapper as long as I can remember, right? My first favorite rapper was LL Cool J. Then like I think it was after that it was like Biggie, and I was like it's been Biggie ever since, right? So you know Big, his flow is top 2 when it's not 2, right?
Right.
Flow. Emphasis on the flow. Goody came and they all over the shit, right? So I was like, nah, I can't rock. I just couldn't rock with it. But now that's one of those things, like I said about, Usher. Yeah, I was wilding. Like that Goody, like that whole Soul Food album is brilliant. It's 6 mics, fuck vibe. It's 6. You can't say enough good things about that shit. I love that shit. And then the shit they're saying too. That was another thing too, though. Was like, it's not always what you say; it's how you say it. They have a lot to say. There's a lot going on in those Goody Mob lyrics, and it always has been. But the way that it was being presented to me, I was like, nah, I can't fuck with this. But now Goody, I fucks with Goody heavy. And then when they came out with that Sky High, oh man, forget about it. I was all in. I was all in by it. I mean, I think a lot of it just had to do with growing the fuck up, right? You grow up a little bit, you have a different a different appreciation for things. So I gotta throw Goody in there. Reluctantly, I hate admitting that, but it is what it is.
The funny thing too is I think it's also, like you said, it's a regional thing, because I love their second album even more than Soul Food. And most people don't even like the second album, but I was living in Atlanta at the time when it came out. So I was living in Atlanta, like I said, all you heard was ATLiens and that Goody Mob second album. They don't dance no more. Like, that is my shit. Now most boom bap backpack niggas can't stand that song. They don't dance no more. Like, but again, just being in Atlanta, every car wash you pass, every car that drives by, like, that's all you heard. So I know that my love for that album comes from me living in Atlanta at that time. I know if I was back in Philly or in Baltimore, I would have been like, no, that album's okay. You know what I mean? But being in Atlanta, it's kind of like one of my homegirls. She was like, she know I really fuck with a lot of bass shit, and I'm starting to fuck with it now because this show Blind Spotting on Showtime. If y'all don't watch it, I love that show. It's based off a movie, but it's a series. And she was like, she went to grad school out in Oakland, so she loves E40. And she was like, yo, you just had to be like, I don't think you could be in Oakland at that time. And she was like, I didn't go out there liking E40 and Too Short, but it's just hard to be there and not fall in love with that. And Blind Spotting does a great job of that during the show, of them showing you the Oakland Bay hip hop scene. And just from watching that show, I have more of an appreciation for Bay Area hip hop. I compared a lot to Go-Go. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't fuck with Go-Go, but trust me, if you live out here in DC and the DMV long enough, you will fuck with some Go-Go after a while. You know what I mean? You will. The average person hasn't even heard Go-Go. Before I came to DC, the only thing I knew of Go-Go was The Butt by EU back in 1988 with School Days. But if you come out here and you're in DC and you're in this area and you go to a Go-Go, you're going to have an appreciation for Go-Go music. So a lot of times what you hear does really come down to were you there in that area, in my opinion. Elise, what you got up next, miss?
Okay. It's an R&B one, but I want to touch back on an R&B one you said that is also on my list, and that was Amy Winehouse. But what is interesting is what brought you to her is what made me not fuck with or explore her at all was Rehab. That song makes me insane. When I go back and play that album, I never fucking play it. It's bad. But that's what kept me, because I kind of didn't hear about her before that much.
I didn't know about the Frank album.
This is before the internet became what it is now. So it's like some stuff you just was late for. Right. I was late, and when I came to her is when she blew up mainstream, and I was like, no. Because I was like, oh, this gimmicky shit. I was like, I don't want to hear this shit. And then, finally I go back to it, and I'm like, oh no, it's just that song that I don't like. I really enjoy this music. So I just had wanted to say it's funny. What brought you is what kept me from exploring any further.
Right. Great example. I always say music speaks to us all different. The very thing that I love on my cheesesteak is what somebody else can't stand on their cheese. Like, music speaks to us all different. So I love these conversations.
Yeah. So, what my next pick is a newer person, and Jay, I know this, Ari Lennox.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
But then, I I don't know, and I don't know if it's because I'm so diehard Erykah. And before she even was the name, people kept saying, "Oh, sound like Erykah." So I just was kind of going on what people were saying. So I went into it comparing because that was her, headline or whatever. And so I was just like, I didn't hate it, but I was like, I guess. But then she came out with this second album, and I kind of jumped on the boat early and listened to it. And it was like, oh gosh, she found her exact sweet spot. And now I get it, and now I can go back to stuff from the first album. I still don't like the singles that was off of it. I skipped those. But now I appreciate that first album a lot more.
Question: Ari Lennox is that name gets like mixed up with a whole bunch of other names. Is that the chick who has that single out now, Pressure or whatever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Jermaine Dupri, right?
He did the record. Yeah, him and Brian Michael Cox. Yeah.
All right. And this new album is good.
Yes. Age, Sex, and Location. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Dope.
I know,
like to where I don't buy no new shit. I don't buy no new shit. But when I was in New York, I was at the record store and I bought that album. And I don't usually buy new albums. People buy them for me. But I'm a digger.
Right. You saw that easy.
Other people buy them, so I ain't got to.
Oh, yeah. I see.
But because I'm a digger, I like to go. I like to be online, find something old, and so that's usually my steez. But I went and bought that mug.
All right, I gotta check that joint out. I think the single, like when everybody is singing something, that's like a turn off to me. And like everybody was singing that Pressure song, and it was just like, good.
Guess what?
You know what I'm saying? There's nothing else on the album.
No.
There you go. Okay, perfect.
There's not a song on ASL that sounds like Pressure
at all. No.
But in the sequence of the album where Pressure is in the album makes sense.
Perfect.
Like it's a playthrough, so I don't skip it because it makes sense with the kind of the story because it's kind of a concept album. So yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped listening to singles when the stuff would drop, because I did that with Nas's what was the first single for King's Disease 1? God, what was the name of that shit? Easy, I know you know.
Well, King's Disease 1, Ultra Black.
Yeah, Ultra Black. I did not hear that until the album. If I would have heard it, I know I would have been like, what the fuck is
and
this?
I heard it. I heard Ultra Black.
You didn't, I don't know. That's funny. That shit really give me a big Dilla vibe, man. I'm surprised you feel that way about it.
No. I guess what in my mind what Nas sounds like would not be Ultra Black as a first single. Like I wouldn't have been excited for the album. So that's why I was just like, you know what? I don't even want to hear singles no more. I just want to hear it in the album, because when I hear it in the album, it makes sense. So I know exactly what you're saying, at least. Like how it's like it feels perfect in the album. I love the song now. But again, I know myself being a snob, I would have been like, nah, and this the first single. Like first singles back in our day meant some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like fucking, you know what I mean? Like, you put in some work for it. You think of fucking Check the Rhyme and a war tour. Like, you know what I mean? Think if Jazz was the first single from Low End Theory. That it wouldn't have fit right. It was a good second single. It's like Check the Rhyme, Jazz, flipping it with Bugging Out, and then we gonna end it with Scenario. It's like, that's like the perfect lineup. You know what I mean? So the first single to me means so much. You know what I mean? So like, when I hear something, I'm like, damn, that's the first single? Like, nah, I'm not feeling that. That's why I stopped listening to singles. Next person I got up is Jay-Z. I was not a Jay-Z fan when I first heard Jay, because again, remembering my name, my age, I remember Hawaiian Sophie. I remember seeing this nigga in the video. I remember seeing that. It was like, yo, whatever the fuck this is, I'm good. I don't want it. I am good. And, you know, I can't get with this. I was like, yo, this shit is whack. I didn't like Can I Get Open with Original Flavor, all the da-da-da-da-da. I was not a fan. I was like, this boy is corny. My OG Roots comes into the studio one day up at 889 with the 12-inch for In My Lifetime. He's like, yo, I got the new Jay-Z. I was like, I don't want to hear that shit. He was like, yo, check this out. He put in My Lifetime, and I was like, yo, I don't know who the fuck this is, but this is not that nigga. This is not, there was no more diggity. Whatever Easy just did with his head, that shit stopped. It was like no mas. Like, no mas. This nigga's selling drugs. He's talking about going state to state. Then you put it on the B-side with the jazz remix for In My Lifetime with What's the Meaning? What's the meaning? Oh my God. Like, yo, it was just like, yo, good Lord, man. And that just did it. It was like, yo, I don't know who told this. I would love to know what happened. I would love to know, did Clark, did Jay, like, what made you stop rapping like that and get into this drug dealer bag? Like, it literally was like,
Jay-Z, I'm speculating, but Jay-Z's a master assimilator, right? You know how they always there's this big narrative about how he bit Young Chris's flow, right?
Right.
So like,
well, I don't know if that's a narrative or just
nah. That you know. Nah, I'm gonna tell you what it is. He swagger jacked Chris.
Right. Right.
When Chris goes a little,
which I feel like which is a 2000s way of saying you bit my shit.
You bit.
Right.
For sure. But what I'm saying is like it's not the flow. It's the, all right. So let me. All right. So Young Chris could never, because you know it was very prevalent in the Blueprint 2 era, right? Mm-hmm. So far ahead of my time, I'm about to start another life. Look behind you, I'm about to pass you twice. Young Chris could never do that in his life. Let's be real, right? But then when he starts doing that, let's not get paper, dog. Don't let me forget. That's the Young Chris influence right there.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's not the flow. Chris couldn't flow like that in his wildest dreams. And it's no knock. I like Chris, but he's not Jay. But he did bite him. He did bite him though.
Jay reminds me of Marlo from The Wire. He is the person who is going to use you and then get rid of you. If you think about that, Marlo needed to get with Joe in the co-op to get to the plug, and then when he got the plug, he didn't need Joe anymore. So you get rid of Joe. He's like that's Jay. He's going to same thing. I'll never forget.
Right.
And I'll never forget this. I'm riding. We listening to Song Cry. And when he's like, you don't get a nigga back like that. Shit, I'm a man with pride. You don't do shit like that. You don't just get up and leave a nigga sick like that. And T was like, yo, that's Beans, nigga. And I'm like, yo, my wife said that shit. My wife was like, yo, that's Beans flow. Like, why is he rhyming like that? So you're 100% right. Jay is going to take what he needs and, make it what it is. But I just
watch him as he progresses, though. It's very, you feel
like. I can't remember if drug rap was very prevalent at that time when In My Lifetime came out, because it just seemed like night and day. It's kind of like I always say it's about the Roots. If the last song you heard from the Roots was Silent Treatment, and then the next song you hear from them is Clones, it sounds like two totally different groups. Like Do You Want More was heavy on, hey, we're a jazz band, no samples, which is why I didn't fuck with them. You couldn't tell me in 1994, look, man, no samples, nigga, get that shit the fuck out of here, nigga. Don't nobody want to hear no jazz shit no more. That Diggable Planet shit, they won the Grammy for that 2 years ago, my nigga. Y'all late. And then for Philadelphia, it's a whole nother album. They feel like two separate groups. And I felt like it was kind of like the same with Jay. So the same way I'm like, yo, I wonder what made the Roots kind of realize, like, well, I guess it was niggas ain't feeling that jazz shit no more, nigga. You better get an SP12 and an MPC and fucking start making some real beats, But I've always wondered how Jay just did that flip.
I think I know. I know. If you follow the timeline, right? When he first comes out, Fool Schnickens, Dies Effects, and he's dibbity-dibbitying, right?
Right. Underground.
And then it starts to slow. Then it starts. You know what I'm saying? Then it starts to slow down. You got the Black Moons, you got the Bigs, you got the Nas's. They're toning it down, right? When did In My Lifetime drop? 95.
Probably like 95, yeah.
All right, what was the hardest shit in 95? Only Built for Cuban Links, drug rap.
Right.
So like I said, you followed it to master assimilator, man. Like he's been doing that shit forever, bro.
Yeah. Now it makes sense. It makes sense, but it definitely made me
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was not with the iggity shit that he was
doing.
Nah.
I fuck with Dies Effects, but
no. Yeah, I fuck with Dies. I didn't fuck with his iggity.
Like son, like when and you know where it really sounds crazy is that freestyle with Big L.
Yeah.
That's when it really sounds bad, bro.
Right.
I'm like, damn, like you really got in there with L, who was wild.
That never happened. I don't
And
know.
you did this bullshit. Right?
Yeah.
Yo, and I sing Jay-Z's praises all day. So, you know, that hater or whatever shit doesn't work with me. But like, I'm like, you really got in there behind L and you spit this bullshit. You understand what I'm saying?
Nah, I totally understand what you're saying.
But you know, that goes to his mind. You know, his mind. You know how he always find a way.
Yeah,
you feel what I'm saying? And that's part of honestly, it's part of his genius. Honestly, you know what I mean?
It's part of what I was talking about when you're not in that boom bag. And now he's hanging upstairs on the Rough Riders floor. Like, hey, so what's Swiss working on? What you guys doing up here? You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I'm gonna get with Premier while you hot, and I'm gonna get with Ski, and okay, that y'all fade now. Let me get over here on this Swiss thing. Okay, that's fade now.
The real thing about that was he was asking for Dame.
For Dame Grease, not Swiss.
Who did the beats on X's album? He wanted Dame.
He wanted
right?
Dame. Yeah.
And then hold up, our nephew, you know,
right?
Their nephew on, and the rest is history. And I asked Dame that because you know Dame dropped the album with Term, so I asked him. Okay. And he was kind of like he didn't want to answer it, but his silence was confirmation.
Right.
You know
yeah. Here's the funny part: I've never heard a DMX album in my life, never once. So
wait, what?
Wait,
I've never heard a DMX album.
Kill, man.
Yeah, we need an explanation. Why?
Okay, well, here again, we go back to Kill is a music snob. So,
right, this is
when Get At Me Dog dropped, all I heard was EPMDs get the Bozak. And I was like, oh, this is what y'all new niggas are doing. Y'all just jack old people's beats. Then I heard a nigga barking like a fucking dog. Okay? Now, I know that shit sounds normal now because he's DMX and God bless the dead and everything, but you make a nigga bark like a dog, I'm good. I'm going to pass on that. So, I mean, there are DMX songs. Of course, I've heard the songs. I've heard the singles. There are singles and songs that I like. It was never anything enough to make me say, let me dig deeper and go into a DMX album.
Now, let me add to the Jay-Z conversation with DMX. Check this shit out, how crazy it is. What did DMX do throughout that album? A lot of beats with no samples, right? What does Jay-Z do on Hard Knock Life 2? Let me get Swiss. No let me get Timbaland. Beats with no samples, and they become the most sought after producers.
Right.
Another thing Jay-Z be borrowing.
Yeah.
Even with X, you brought up X, and it wasn't even related to the conversation, and somehow it was related. Like he just does it. He's been doing that shit his whole career, bro.
Bro, he's Marlo. The nigga he's going to get with you and take what he needs to progress forward. You know, for a time Marlo looked like he was under Prop Joe, and for a while he in people's minds it was, in his mind he wasn't. He was just playing his position to be able to take Joe out the way. You know what I mean? So now I definitely feel you on that. On the R&B side, this is kind of funny, I guess. It's Justin Timberlake / NSYNC. So, nigga, I'm from Philly. I don't fuck with boy bands, especially white boy bands. We can cut that shit out. You know, I'm not fucking with Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, whichever one that nigga who used to be married to the chick who didn't know what Buffalo Wings was, Nick Lachey, whatever fucking boy group is, I'm not fucking feeling it until I heard Gone. Gone is my shit. When I heard Gone, I was like, yo, who the fuck is that? And my homegirl was like, oh, that's NSYNC. I was like, that ain't no fucking NSYNC. She was like, nah, that's Justin Timberlake singing. I was like, yo, that shit is crazy. And then, of course, getting with Pharrell and all that. But and now I'm a big Justin Timberlake fan. JR knows I'm the only person in the world, me, and I think Levi Strauss, who sponsored the album, that Man in the Woods album. We're the only two people in the world who like that album. I'm okay with that. Y'all know me. I like being by myself sometimes. But
I don't know about that. But
I fuck with Justin Timberlake. I mean, I think what was the joints? The double album he had out. Not Future Sex. I think that's
Justified is too. Justified is fire.
Yeah, Justified is fire. Future Sex Love Sounds to me is 5 mics. The next joint he had out. With Suit and Tie with Jay-Z.
2020.
The first 2020 to me is 5 mics. Love it to death. So yeah, Justin Timberlake. That's what I got. JR is on break after I said white boy.
All right, you done? Cool.
So you literally just checked out for just saying I like Justin Timberlake.
Are you back there again?
Oh, no, okay. I guess not. You're still mad about the titty? Are you still mad about the titty?
No, I'm not mad about that at all. I just think that Justin's stuff is not genuine. That's period.
Okay.
It's not.
All right.
I'm not mad about the titty at all because come on, you're young. Janet's career was already legendary. If that were you, you probably would have did the same damn thing to keep your career. I get it. But as far as the music, as far as me, I don't think it's genuine at all. But then he tried to put on his Wranglers and cowboy boots and gave you Man in the Woods, and then what happened?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Why do you think the music isn't? When you say genuine, can you define that? Like, do you mean like he's like, when I think of genuine, it's kind of like, and this is why I want to define it. Like, if someone said Jay-Z's music isn't genuine, I would hear he's really not a drug dealer. He's really not rapping about, he's really not living the life that he's rapping about. So for when you say the music isn't genuine, what does that mean for you?
That's the right person to say, because I feel like Jay-Z's music has no soul to it to me.
Okay.
And I feel like Justin Timberlake's music does not have any soul to me. Like, don't get me wrong, Justified was dope. 2020 Experience was fine. But I feel like it was just, Justin just did that because he got with the right producers and all that. Because 100% Genuine is nothing but what Future Sex Love Sound is. And if Genuine would have made the exact same album, it wouldn't have did nothing. But Justin got the privilege and he got the crossover and it worked. And to me, it was
you're saying Justin don't have the soul coming from him.
It's not at all. And I feel like it's all staged and all planned, because when he went on Hot 97 with Angie, this one I knew, okay. When he came on the Future Sex Loves, when he did the interview, and even after the whole Titty thing, okay, I'm a Janet fan, whatever. And you go in there and the first thing Angie was like, okay, well, you know, what was the first album you brought? He said, The Low End Theory. You're from Memphis, Tennessee. That's a bullshit ass lie. You know damn well the first album you brought was Elvis, because you said it in a freaking NSYNC interview. So now all of a sudden your first album is The Low End Theory. You playing the role to me. And I wish Angie would have been like, well, what's your favorite? That's how you get motherfuckers, for real, for real. What's your favorite on Low End? And then he would have probably been like, I like all of them. Oh, really? Like, that's what I feel like that is to me.
JR, let me ask you a question. Did she ask him his favorite, like the first, do you think, I didn't hear it, I didn't see the interview. Yeah. But is it possible that she said, what's the first rap album you bought? And maybe the other interview was just in general?
What was the first album you ever purchased yourself? Oh, okay. And he said The Low End Theory. And I was just like, what a, wow. And again, I hate to say this, but I was an NSYNC fan. So these interviews I'm seeing, he was like, oh God, I'm the biggest Elvis fan in the world. That's the first album I ever brought. And then you go to Hot 97 and say,
he read in the room. He just read in the room. You know, when I'm with the whiteys, I'm gonna tell them what they want to hear. When I'm with these guys, I'm gonna tell them what they want to hear.
Me, though.
Yeah. Like, no, of course, I agree. I'm just saying.
I feel like that's whack. But is the music bad? No, I don't think it's bad at all. But I just don't think that's just him. He wanted.
Now, JR, I'm asking not just for me, but for people watching. I appreciate all the people who watch the show, and I get caught up in it's not just the five of us anymore. So I just want people to understand. When you say you don't feel any soul coming from his music, is that from how, are you saying that because he lied to Angie Martinez? Because I feel like they're two different buckets. It's the bucket of, it's the PR bucket. You know, like he said, the PR bucket, I'm lying to whatever audience I'm in front of. That's one bucket. And then the other bucket is the actual music. So, like you're saying, if Genuine would have done 2020, would he have sung it with more soul? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, he doesn't sing with any soul? He's just blatant. Like, he's just white. He's just a boring piece of white bread. He's not a hamburger bun. You know how your mother will make you a hamburger and she put it on fucking bread and that would just ruin everything because it just doesn't look, that's not a fucking bun, Mom. That's a piece of white bread. Are you saying Justin is just white bread and Genuine would be the bun?
Right. I'm just, because I go into music emotional anyway, so I'm looking for that, and when I get it from Justin, I don't get that. But again, like Easy said, Justified is the shit. Senorita, I love that record. Like, I love it. I ain't gonna lie, like, I do like his stuff, but I just feel like there's no soul in it. You know what I mean? Right. And that's just me. And you could tell that a little of the soul was taken out of it when he did Future Sex, and it was just like, okay, when Danger came into play. Because
I was just gonna ask you, do you think you can get soul music out of Timbaland? Like, when I think of soul, I'm thinking Anthony Hamilton. You know, I don't look at Timbaland as gonna bring the soul. When I listen to Aaliyah, I don't feel a soulful music coming from Aaliyah. I don't feel soulful music coming from Missy. Like, I don't even look at Timbaland as like somebody who would be like, I'm remembering when Justin wanted in on Quest doing the Al Green album, and Justin wanted in and Quest wouldn't let him in. I don't think Timbaland should have been let into that session. Like, I don't need no Timbaland on no Al Green album, because Timbaland to me ain't soul. You know what I mean? So
I got you.
Can you even get soul music from Timbaland?
I mean, he gave like again, I think a whole album, no. But okay. I think with some joints he can, because on Sweet Southern Hummingbird, he gave her some stuff. You know what I mean? That had that depth of soul in it. You know what I mean?
I thought he only did two. I thought he only did Call Me and Oops on there.
He did Motel too.
Okay. He
did that. So it was like
which is a song. Which that song Motel is soulful as fuck.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like that. You know what I mean? But I agree with you. I don't think Timbaland could give you a hope. But when he did do 100% Genuine, you felt the soul in it because of Genuine. You know what I mean? And it works.
That's my shit.
See, I think, and again, for me, I just felt the freakiness. I didn't feel no soul. Like, if you ask me a soulful artist, Genuine.
There's no soul. Okay. There's no soul and freakiness.
Kill.
No, there is soul and freakiness.
Kill. Mm-hmm. Have you listened to the first 3 Genuine albums in their entirety? Even one time?
I heard the first 2. I heard the Bachelor and then 100% Genuine.
Mm-hmm. So you got the all freaky feeling from...
Well, I got the freaky feeling from the first one. So like Pony and stuff like that. Like, to me, that was freaky Genuine. And again, so everybody's different.
But there's no soul and freakiness. I don't get that.
No, there's soul and freakiness. But when I'm thinking of soul music, I'm thinking of Anthony Hamilton. Anthony Hamilton and Genuine don't belong in the same category.
Yeah, and that's what he not. Go ahead, sis. I'm not bad. Go ahead.
No, we've had this conversation about what we define as soul, and we all had a different answer. So yeah, for you, that's not soul. But when I'm saying soul, I don't mean the trope of, oh, it's this, you know, churchy singer. That's not my definition of soul. It's this, when they sing the song, part of it is, do you believe it? When they sing it, you like, when you hear it, you're just like, yeah, that shit fucking happened, or yeah, that fucking hurt, or yeah, that girl was beautiful, or yeah, some freaky shit. It could be any of those things. You could sing, H-Town was singing freaky ass songs. I would say half of their music, and that's me listening to whole albums. But even on the freaky songs, they sound soulful as shit. I fucking believe every fucking word they say. I believe that woman felt so good. I believe all that shit.
Right. And see, for me, the soul comes from the singer to me. Like, so when I listen to KC sing freaky shit, I hear soul from KC. When I hear H-Town sing freaky shit, for me, I don't hear soul. Because to me, it's the singer. It's about what you're bringing out. So Aaliyah can sing a song about heartbreak, and Aaliyah's just not going to be soulful for me. I could believe her all day. Aaliyah could literally write a song about Candyman, and it's true, but I'm never going to look at it and be like, oh, Aaliyah, that's soulful, because I believe it. You know what I mean? To me, it has to come from the singer. So when I hear KC sing, that's some soulful shit. I'm hearing that shit in KC's voice. You know, but again, that's why I said we all have our different definitions. That's why I just wanted JR to define it, because somebody at home watching may have been like, well, I don't understand. So that's the only reason why I was bringing up the soul.
But who's going around saying Aaliyah was a soul singer? I didn't say that.
Nobody. I was just saying how you said that if the singer's singing it and you believe it. So it's like, oh, you really got hurt, or you really did that. So it's not really about the singer. It's just about, do you believe them? Like JR doesn't believe Justin. You know what I mean? But like you said, you believe Genuine. Like, and it could be freaky, it could be this, it could be anything, as long as you believe the singer. For me, it's not about believing the singer. It's about Jasmine Sullivan is a soulful singer to me. To me, that's not, Aja from Kindred and the Family Soul. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're two different singers to me. So even though Aja could be singing about marriage and real life and some real shit, and it's a really great song, I'm just not getting the soulfulness out of it. But again, that's just my definition of soulful, you know?
You know what's crazy?
Soul is not soulful. What do
you know what's crazy, though? Y'all wanna know what's crazy?
I'm very confused.
Justin Timberlake was one of my picks, and I'm so glad I didn't start this fucking riot in here. I'm so glad it was him that started this shit. He was literally one of my picks.
Justin? And
for the same reason, when I heard Gone and Girlfriend, that I was like, yo, these dudes is alright. You know what I mean?
But you know what it is, Elise? It's almost like with hip hop. You can have people who look at the word that we did a show called The Difference Between an MC, a Rapper, and a Lyricist. And they were three different things. And almost everybody who was on the show had three different definitions to what those three people are. For one person, called Phife a lyricist. Other people was like, nah, fuck that. Phife ain't no lyricist. He's an MC. Because their definition of lyricist would be Elzhi, Royce the 5'9", Ransom, people like that. You know what I mean? And to me, Phife is not in the same category as Ransom, people like that. So again, just for me, the soul is about the actual singer themselves. You know what I mean? Like, is Prince a soul singer?
No.
But what if every song that Prince wrote about was true? Why wouldn't he be a soul singer? Because that's what you said that a soul singer would be, as long as you believe him, right? Or is Michael Jackson a soul singer? If Billie Jean was a real song and there was some chick really trying to bang Mike for his pockets, like, this ain't my kid, and he's singing it in Billie Jean, that would be a soul singer, right?
Go ahead.
But I do consider him a soul singer. So
hey man, this is a whole nother show. If we being honest.
No, we did this show before. Which one, Prince or Mike?
Okay, so
Now I'm saying Prince or Michael. Which one? You were saying you consider him a soul singer. Which one?
Michael, because his career didn't start at. He could sing it since he was little.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about,
and
like,
it was in a soul style.
About solo.
He was a kid.
Yeah, but solo Mike, not Jackson 5.
Solo? No, I don't think so.
I do.
Actually.
Oh yeah.
I do.
Actually, yes. Actually, yes.
Yes, because his first solo album is soulful as hell.
Don't make me start playing this shit on the loudspeaker and waking motherfuckers up. Don't front on Mike, man.
I can't get banged by YouTube. I can't play nothing for more than 8 seconds now.
All right, so let's not do that then. We got to get back because we're getting way off and we talking crazy right now.
We getting off, but to bring it back to the beginning, we never asked why I don't like Justin Timberlake.
Oh, I didn't know you didn't like him.
I don't. And I don't really enjoy the music because his voice is so replaceable. Like, there's nothing he is doing his voice to where I'm like, So on every single song, all I think about is the production. So I'm a big fan of Timbaland.
True.
I could have sang on that. I could have sang on the album. I can't sing word for damn, and it wouldn't change anything about those songs. So he's not a vocal stylist. He just goes up there, he sings his song, and he dances around and all that. I think he's a very entertaining dude. But I don't know. It's like with his singing, it sounds like a demo. You know, it place anyone in here, but he was hot. You know, I understand why he is what he is. He was hot. So. You know, he had the privilege, so he could go and sing these hip hop and he was going to be played on everything.
We like now.
Now you make a good point with the production, and I think that's why I think they knew they kind of had to get him with Pharrell and Timbaland at that time because they were the two hottest entities that were out, and they were trying to take him from what Easy was talking about earlier, from a predominantly white market to a predominantly black market.
It's kind of
Because
like George Michael, basically.
you think?
But George Michael had more, to me, it was more real. You know what I'm saying? Real.
Yeah.
But again, like you just said, they tried to take Justin away from that teeny pop shit and make him grown. And that's what they did, and bring it with Timbaland and Pharrell and all that. But just like Pharrell did say one time, he was like taking it to Robin Thicke, right? And he was
because
like,
all the beats for Justify was supposed to be for Michael, right? Am I right about that?
I was hearing about
I heard something about that.
Yeah. He was doing that for Michael, and you know, Michael was already working with Rodney, so it was already
Now you brought up Robin Thicke. What did y'all think about Robin Thicke?
Now they don't know that Robin Thicke came out with the long hair.
And when he called himself just Thick,
before they made him soul,
he said he called himself
alternative.
He just called himself Thick because he just had the long hair. It was not Robin. It was just Thick. That's it.
There's a Robin Thicke before the Robin Thicke that everybody knows.
Right, and he was riding a bike through New York City.
Yeah, he was like a hippie. He was like a hippie.
Yeah. Yo, do y'all want to hear something funny about Robin Thicke though? Go on Nori's Instagram. He's one of the upcoming guests on Drink Champ.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he says, yeah, my mother was a singer. You know, his father was a singer. His father sang Different Strokes. Like, my mother was a singer. She sang with Carl Anderson. And then he says, yeah, we've been trying to be black forever. Jokes about it on the show, and they start dying laughing. And he say how his great-grandfather or his great-grandfather was a jazz musician. That, yeah, we've been trying to be black for generations. He says it himself. It's like a brand new clip. No, we just put it up like today or yesterday. Yeah. He's owning it though. Got to give it to him for owning it.
But did y'all like Robin Thicke? Like once the Robin Thicke,
I like the evolution a lot. I like the evolution.
I liked him all the way up to Blurred Lines. I liked him.
Okay.
I feel the same way as JR. I think I feel the same way.
Once Blurred Lines happened, you saw what was happening. It was like, okay, this is what they're doing. They're turning him into Justin.
Okay. Thank you for saying that, because I was gonna say.
But Remy Shan is one of the best to me. He's better.
Oh yeah, Remy Shan.
Rather than Justin. Remy Shan is. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But yo, I got one. And
thank you for bringing us back.
Again, I was wilding. I was single digit aged. It wasn't even easy, right? I was fucking, single digits. And I remember to make fun of this shit. I just didn't think like talented like that, right? Now I have an older sister who was obsessed with like the Whitneys, the Mariahs, the Brian McKnights, like the singing motherfucker, right? My older sister was really, really into that. So you know how we used to hang our laundry outside, the clothespin, the wood joint?
Yep.
Around the house with the shit on my nose.
Last night, saw you standing there.
I was making fun. I was making fun of this I remember I was making fun of this motherfucker hard.
Yeah.
Now, ask me about that very
sweat
today. I tell you, that's one of my favorite albums in any genre.
Yeah,
like I was wilding. I wasn't hearing it then, bro. Super young though.
Sound the same now, but
I get it, but I was wilding though, right? By the time Twisted came around, I was still doing the clothespin and all that, but it was just like, all right, cool, this shit is fire. But I was like clowning the shit. Right? I was running around. Like I was really clowning this shit, right? So, Keith Sweat, absolute legend, just like Usher, icon, all that shit. I just was like I said, I was a kid, literally single digit age. I ain't know any better, but I'm just being real with y'all, man.
Nah, that's dope, man. The funny thing, Keith, man, that album dropped 88, so I'm in 8th grade going to 9th grade, and it was just like Make It Last Forever. That was like the chick song right there. That was the slow jam at every house party. It was like, you know, you trying to kick it with it shorty, you like, yo, let's make it last forever. You know what I mean? So for me, it was like, that was like the get money song. When I get money, but y'all know what I mean. But
it's crazy though, because 88, 87, 88, I'm 5, 6 years old.
Right.
But songs and albums, they lasted so much longer back then.
Yes.
That I might have fucked around and been singing that shit when I was 10.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I might have been 8 or 9 when I was fucking doing that shit. Who knows? I don't remember that well. But I just remember I was, you know, I used to bug out with it. I just wasn't like, I wasn't impressed. It was like a joke to me almost.
Right.
And now I be, you know, I be mopping the floor. I be trying to do the moves and shit. I be, you know, doing all that shit to that very album, man. I love it. I love it.
Keith was the man. Keith was the man. Elise, what you got up next, miss? I'm gonna come back to you, JR and Eltron. I know we ended with Justin. So,
We good.
No, go back to the rotation. Go back.
All right, JR, what you got?
Y'all take it some of mine, so I had to add some more.
This is gonna be funny. Anita.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, both of y'all on at the same time. It's like a cheat code. Y'all already know what y'all like playing with. Y'all already know what each other gonna say and everything.
Oh, me and JR?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we talk every single day.
Yeah, I know. Y'all like the cheat code. So
what's clear?
Yeah. Again, and my family was not big Anita Baker fan at all. So I never really got to hear. Again, I'm just knowing singles. So when everybody's going up in arms about her, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm not getting it. So speaking of the Knicks, and I remember watching. Damn,
this is what you get when y'all win? Like, what was you gonna be like if y'all went down 0-2?
Same fucking way. But I remember one of my neighbors, because he had like the big screen TV in his house. So he was from Queens, and he watched the Knicks games. And I remember us going over there, and he played "Baby" by Anita off the Rhythm and Soul album. So I will always remember that song playing during the '94 playoffs. And I just remember asking them, like, yo, who is this? And they was like, yo, this is Anita Baker. And I'm like, oh, really? And I was like, well, I ain't never heard that song. And they was like, it's an album cut. So, I look at my mom and I'm like, you don't know this? And she like, no, and I don't care to know it. I'm like, oh, excuse me, I got it. So I was like, all right. So then when we moved back up to New York again, I was like, yo, I'm going to get into Anita for myself. And then I heard "You Bring Me Joy." And right then and there, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm getting into her. I don't know what y'all talking about, but I'm going to get into her. And then I went to the songstress with "The Best Thing Yet" and, you know, "Angel" and all that. And then I just started getting into her myself. And I love Anita. I love her. You know what I mean? Thank God I'm going to see her in like 2 weeks. So we're going to see her and all that good stuff. But hopefully she can see. You can unblock me though, Nita. For real.
Oh, she blocked you?
She blocked like 1,000 people in one day. Like,
why?
It has been for like 9 years, you said.
So me and Nita used to go back and forth. Like, she'd be like, yo, how you doing? I'm like, I'm fine. And somebody put a joke about her taxes, and I retweeted it. I thought it was funny. And then she blocked everybody that retweeted it.
Oh, man.
So
she's from Detroit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yo, tell me this, JR. The first album, why do you think the first album didn't do as good? Because again, I'm a shorty at this time. So for people watching, Anita Baker to me is like my parents' music. You know what I mean? So the first time I heard Anita was Rapture. You know, so I didn't find out she had an album before that till like years later. Why do you think the first album didn't blow up? Or at least both of y'all, the R&B reps. What was it about the first album that didn't do it? Like, Was it on a different label? Was it different management?
It was.
Like, what that made the second album blow?
She was on a different label with that. So that label wasn't that big. So you didn't have all the promotion and the team and all that. Once she went to Elektra, she was good to go. You know what I mean? She had the backing that she needed and all that. And like me and Elise talk about on our show, this is 1983, yo. The experimental years. So you come out with your album and everybody is trying to find a sound and everybody is just like, you know, and it's just, Michael is killing it with Thriller right now. Like, he's the focus. You know what I mean? And Prince is up there, you know, with 1999 and all that, but it's hard to find a sound during this time. And I think the only one that was really popping was Shaka. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, she was the female of this. You know what I mean? And then Anita comes along and you got a label that doesn't really have the push to push you, but we know Angel. You know what I mean? That was played on, you know, what is it, Elise? Quiet Storm Radio. So that helped her. You know what I'm saying? So once she got to Rapture and got all that machine behind her, and that's why Sweet Love did what it did. You know what I mean? And then, you know, she was able to really succeed from there. But I think that's my opinion. That's how I feel.
And that first album, it didn't cross over, but we knew them. I'm sure your parents knew who she was, because I knew who she was by the time she came with the second album. So my mom listened to it. My mom got every Anita Baker album, and she got them when they came out. So it wasn't like she got some, you know, got it after. No, she had it. So no, she was cool with us. Knew us, but like JR said, that promotion put her out to the world. But no, she was all good in the hood, though.
No, Try. What about you, bro?
Next up, I got my man from Odd Future, Tyler, the Creator.
I'm so on him right now, yo. I'm
Tyler too.
So I think I first saw him on Loiter Squad. And it was a young show.
Oh, what?
With these young Loiter Squad. It was on Adult Swim. It was a comedy show, sketch show.
That shit was funny too, yo.
It was hella funny, but some of the parts I'm like, man, I don't get it. I guess I'm just too old. But he came out and he was rhyming all angry, kind of not sounding like Eminem, but just really, I'm doing this and the different voices, and I'm like, I don't really like this dude, but I like him for some reason. But I didn't like his rapping. But a few years ago, when he put out that Call Me When You Get Lost, I'm like, this, and Igor, I think is when I really started listening. And then the Flower album, he had some cuts off of there, and I'm like, wait, this dude really knows his music. You got Charlie Wilson, you like producing you in there in the studio with the orchestra. He did his homework, I guess, you know. But this last album he put out, man, I'm just like, wow. I had to buy the album. I bought the CD. I'm just like, I'm gonna support this dude, even though when I first heard him, he was annoying. He was like an annoying little teenager when he came out. I was like, I don't like this dude. But Call Me If You Get Lost, man, hell of an album.
And them last 8 joints he put out too.
Yeah. Oh, was it Deluxe or something?
Yes.
I didn't hear that yet.
Them joints are dope. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. I had Tyler too. Say again, when we talk about the different phases of music, like Tyler was just some weird dude to me. You know what I mean? And there was a part of hip hop where there was this weird time in hip hop. And it's like, people act like Pharrell was always the cool nigga. I remember when Pharrell had the mustache and the nigga looked like a child molester, and people thought
NERD.
Weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now it's like, oh my God, Pharrell, he's the fashion icon. Nigga, no, I was there. No one was like fashion icon, it was like skateboard, but then it's like this nerdy rap came in. You know what I mean? And to me, he kind of fell in that category. And again, this is what, again, I love about Naomi again. Naomi was on top. So whenever me and Naomi are out driving, you know, she'll be like, yo, can I play you something? And she played me Lumberjack, you know, and didn't tell me who it was. And I was like, oh, this shit hard as hell. Like, who is this? She was like, this Tyler. I was like, yo, shut the fuck go. This is Tyler. Like, and then, you know, we went to the show. I had a good time at the show. And she's just been putting me on all the other stuff too. You know what I mean? Like that was, yeah, her and Steve Lacy are like her two people. Like who she
do like Steve Lacy. Oh, she like
that was the album. You saw the video of her crying like she just.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. That's the Steve Lacy. So Steve Lacy and Tyler is her dude. But yeah, now I can say I'm a Tyler fan. Like if Tyler went back on tour, I'm like, Nay, we gotta go. Like. Wow. So again, I think it's what Easy said earlier too, is just growing up sometimes. And like I said, I'm proudly doing that. I'm a snob. I can be a snob at times. I think I'm becoming less of a snob the older I get. But yeah, you know, so you know, it's just good to keep dope people like y'all in my life so that y'all can tell me about these people, because I probably wouldn't listen otherwise, you know. At least please pull an album out just to let people know that's not a green screen. People thought I had a green screen behind me.
You said pull an album out?
Yeah, just so that they can see that it's real. Because people thought my background was fake.
That bugs me.
There you go.
Oh, my boy just copped that album.
Oh, yeah.
Kill, people really feel that way? Like,
I'll say
this,
is
that
asked me. I can't say people feel like that because I think it would be obvious that I guess you can make a green screen of anything. Again, when I'm on Zoom, I'm not changing my background. I know other people be changing their backgrounds. Yeah. They may have you can change your background to all records. I don't know. One person asked me. I don't know if anybody else thinks it. So whenever I see people with records, I'm like, yes, they are real people. Nobody is taking the time to make their background. Well, you know what? I won't say nobody. Okay? There probably are people who we aren't taking the time to make a green screen of records just to try to impress y'all. So, Elise, what you got up next, miss?
Well, like the rest of mine aren't really that I didn't like the records to begin with. It's just more I was extra late or like resistant to listen to something. Yeah. So my next one, and I'm only pulling this out because I was resistant. It's hard to get me to listen to, you know, newer rap music. I will, but you know, you gotta worry me. So my homeboy kept on. He was always talking about Gibbs, and I was just like, oh. And then for my birthday that year, he sent me this record. And ever since that day, I've been diehard Gibbs disciple.
I was like that too.
Where I went. And Neltron, you on here? Neltron bought me the instrumental joint because I already had this. Neltron got me the instrumental joint, and I just thought it was the sweetest thing ever. But anyway, yeah. After he sent me that record, and I just sat down and listened to it, and then of hearing it for the first time on vinyl with no expectations, just listening to it straight through. Don't know none of the songs, and left a fan from one listen.
Nah, that's dope, and that's actually a great pull because Gibbs is one of mine, but it's the same thing like Elise just said. It's not that I didn't like Gibbs, I just wasn't a fan. Like, you know, I've heard Bandana, I heard the Fettuccine and all that stuff, but when I heard the Soul Sold Separately album, like that right there, I was like, yo, I love this album. You know what I mean? And it's one of those albums. I was on tour with Ev with his theater piece Prophet, and we were in New York that week, and that's all I listened to everywhere, on the train, in the room, whatever. So that album will always remind me of that. So I'm definitely with you on that. Like, now I can say I'm a Gibbs fan. If he, prior to that album, if he came to DC, if I was working at the Howard, I'd go. But, you know, if not, I'm not going. Now I'm going wherever. If Gibbs could be like he in Philly, and I'll drive to Philly to go to the show.
Wow.
So, yeah, definitely. So I'm definitely with you on that.
What was his first album? Pinata? Was it Pinata?
I don't think that was his first album.
No,
That's
that
his
wasn't
first with
his first.
Madlib.
That was his first album with Madlib.
Madlib.
Yeah, I think I was like, I don't want him, because I thought he kind of looked like Tupac a little bit, and I'm like, Madlib's supposed to work with Talib and Mos and Common. Like, Gibbs was like on this gangster shit. I'm like, damn, what is Madlib doing? But when I listened to it, I'm like, oh, okay, it fits.
Yeah, shit, it fit better than that new album he just did with Talib. But
Liberation too?
Yeah, I wasn't feeling that.
I didn't hear it yet.
Wasn't feeling that. Next up, I got Mr. Jump Off Joe Budden. Again, you know, can't say similar, very similar to Lisa again. Not that I didn't like him or I thought he was whack, but I was just like, pump it up. Like, that's all I knew from him. And I was going back, it's 2009. I went to this show. It was Terminology, Big Suge, Joe Budden, and MOP in Baltimore. And I was just hyped to see MOP. And my people's, Esco and his whole crew was like hyped to see Joe Budden. And I was like, pump it up, Joe Budden? Like, nigga, like, y'all so hyped for to see this dude. But I swear to God, this is exactly what happened. I swear to God. Like, it was 30 of us in the room. Terminology performed, Big Suge performed. And then I swear to God, like, out of nowhere, like 300 people came in when Joe Budden took the stage. And niggas knew every single word. And I'm sitting at the bar by myself, feeling fucking left out. It was the first time in my life I had ever felt left out of a hip hop event. The people I came with left horse. They left horse. I was like, yo, like, what the fuck am I missing out on? And they're like, yo, you gotta listen to his mood music mixtapes and, you know, fuck that album or whatever. And then that night I went home. And then here's the wild part. MOP took the stage and like out of those 300 people, like 150 left with Joe. Like, that nigga must have had a bust down from Jersey because I've never seen people leave. Headline and act comes on. I'm like, yo, how did half the room leave when MOP came on? But that night, I literally went home, got home at 3 in the morning, downloaded every mood music mixtape, and I have been a Joe Budden MC fan. Keyword is the MC, not the social media person, not the podcaster, not the reality TV star, the MC. I've been a fan of Joe ever since. I think Joe is an amazing, amazing MC. And when people tell me they don't think Joe can rap, I'm like, yo, but are you listening? Like, you may not like Joe. There are people I don't like. I didn't like Jordan when I was growing up, you know, but I'm never going to say he can't play ball. You know what I mean? Because I think Joe is very, very dope. And then the person I had for the R&B was Janelle Monáe. I was not a fan of Janelle Monáe. I used to call her the Butler. I used to call her Benson. You know what I mean? Because she wore the Butler outfit, you know. And I just was like, I'm not feeling it. But she had that song, bless you. Bless you. She had that song that I loved. I forgot the name of it though. God, it was like a James Brown that's filled to it. I remember Tightrope. Tightrope. Right. By the tone in both of y'all faces, that it's not a good. Y'all didn't like it?
No, we love that.
We love Janelle Monáe. That's why we do y'all watch our show, because we just did a show about Janelle Monáe.
Yeah, we did the first album.
I got it tapping. Yeah, I like Tightrope, but then when I saw Yoga is what started me. Yoga got me there, and then I do like the Dirty Computer album. Like, I really like the Dirty Computer album. So, you know, I'm actually like really a fan, and I love the joint she did on there with Organized Noise produced. I forgot the name of it, but Organized did a beat on that Dirty Computer album that I really love. So those are my two right there. JR, what you got up for your last joint?
This is crazy. It's actually Parliament and George Clinton. Actually, I saw the imaging first. That turned me completely off. I was like,
again, for people watching, what's the imagery?
When the way they would dress, the way all of this, I didn't get it. I was just like, nah, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I'm not getting that. Mind you, like, Grandmaster Flash and Furious 5 was dressing like them. So it was just weird to me. Like, I just was like, no, I don't get it. And I remember just people going around singing Flashlight a lot and all that. But when we were on campus, and you know, I live with my mom on campus, I saw the Qs go over and they did Atomic Dog. And they were going crazy with it. And I was like, ooh, okay, whatever this is. And then I was just like, okay, I like this. So that was stuck in my brain. So then my pops brought home Chronic. And then Mom hearing all those Parliament samples on it. She's good like that. Oh, that's Parliament. Oh, that's James. Oh, that's that. So I'm hearing, I'm like, yo, I remember George Clinton, because I asked her that's who's part of Parliament. She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, the Atomic Dog and all this. So I'm asking her And then I said, you know what? I need to get into this. And I literally went down a rabbit hole of this. And I'm just a fan. Like, and then to do our show with Nicolay to talk about Mothership Connection was like a 360 for me. Because I didn't like them. And then to talk with somebody liking them, and it was just a 360 for me. I just didn't because of the image. That just tells you, don't go by image.
Hey, remember, I didn't listen to DJ Quick because he had a perm, so.
You ain't letting that go.
Just being honest with you, man. Hell, I almost didn't listen to Stove God Cook album. I mean, when I saw this album come out, I was like,
I told him that to his face, Kill. No
I'm like, bro, you look like a blind kid. You look like a blind kid crying.
Swear to
like,
God, we was in Static's crib, and I was like, yo, your album cover was horrible, and you named your shit Reasonable Drought. I didn't want to listen to it. You know why I listen to Stove God No Bullshit? Because of Kill. Kill was raving so much about that shit on Twitter. I'm tired of reading about this shit. Let me give it a listen. I love that shit. Nah, no bullshit. I wasn't listening to it, bro. I wasn't. I told him he laughed. He laughed when I told him that shit.
You fuck with it, Elise?
Yeah, his
ad. But did you like the cover though? The cover almost turned me
off. No.
Fuck that.
Somebody sent me something one day, so I just clicked it and listened to it. If you think the thing, I usually listen to it. Now, if it don't sound good, I cut it off in between.
That shit is stupid.
But I'm gonna play. I'm gonna cue it up. You send it, I'm gonna cue it up.
Yeah. So I'm not mad at you, JR. I mean, the look part of it comes.
Yeah. But musically, they're geniuses, man. So I'm in them now. And like I said, to do the interview with Nicolay, which is dope. So it was like a 360 moment for me. So.
All right, no doubt. Neltron, what you got for your last joint?
I got two, but the last one is like my R&B, but / hip hop. So my first hip hop is Kendrick Lamar. I just was an old head hating on Cole. I was hating on Kendrick. I was just hating little niggas. I was like, fuck these little niggas. I don't know. Everybody was raving, oh, Kendrick. I'm on Facebook. Who the fuck is Kendrick? Then I heard To Pimp a Butterfly, and I was like, oh, shit. Because To Pimp a Butterfly is like one long song. It's a movie. It doesn't stop in the poetry in between. And then I went back to Good Kid, Mad City, and I went back to Section 80. And it's like, this kid's different. I mean, sometimes I think people put him up on the top tier too soon. Because he's been in the game for 10 years now?
A little bit over 10. If you count in Section 80, probably a little bit over 10.
Right, but I mean he's an artist. I mean, the album he dropped last year, I really haven't been playing it a lot, but To Pimp a Butterfly really like just slapped me in the face, was like, look, I'm here, I got talent, I'm from Compton. And the music was just it was just a masterpiece to me. That's a dope album. So it was Kendrick. And my R&B / hip hop is Drake. I hated Drake when he came out. He kind of sounded like Wayne. When he first came out, he sounded like he came from that school of Wayne. And then I heard Hold On, We're Going Home. And I was like, oh shit, I like this shit. You know, I like more of his R&B stuff, and he just, I still don't like him as much, but I mean, I can. But you know, I'm gonna tell you why.
My bad, bro. That shit.
I hate him because he keeps being relevant. Like, will this nigga take a timeout and just chill? Let these other dudes like,
oh my God,
have their chance. But yeah, Drake is the dude. When he came out the gate, I was like, I don't like this dude. And I found out he was a handicapped wheelchair dude on the soap opera. I'm like, this dude is corny. But I do actually enjoy some of his music. Sorry, Porsche, if you see this.
Man, Drake don't worry about Porsche. Drake got mad fire. Don't worry about Porsche.
Drake got some.
I'll handle
Drake
her.
Got some heat.
Don't do that.
Drake got some good shit.
What was I gonna say about Kendrick? Oh, here's the funny thing about Pimp a Butterfly. I think it's the funniest album because when Pimp a Butterfly came out, me and F hated that album.
Yeah,
we hated it. We despised it.
I remember.
We couldn't stand that fucking album.
Right.
Then about 27 to 32 hours later, we both called each other like, yo, man, I kind of like this shit. Like, yeah, me too. Like, yeah, we was wrong. We were wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was the weirdest album to go. I've never in that time span gone from we hate an album to, yo, this album may fucking need to be taught like at like universities around the country. Like, in a 48-hour time period. Usually had some shit, the album dropped in 1988, then like fucking 2015. You're like, you know what, I was wrong. No, it took us about 48 hours and it was like, yeah, we are fucking wrong on this. This album is fucking incredible. And then the other thing about To Pimp a Butterfly I didn't like, I don't know if you remember, I think he was on the Jon Stewart show and he did this song, what did the Asian say? A Piece of Mind. That's what the Asian one, and when I rhymes thinking, it was this joint he did that ended up being on Untitled Unmastered. And it dropped right before that he did that song. Usually when you go on a late night show, you perform a song that's gonna be on the album. So when I put on The Pimp a Butterfly, I'm like looking for that song and it wasn't on there. So I'm like already pissed because I'm like, that song was so crazy and ain't on it. So another reason why I didn't like it. But that is a perfect example of an album me and F did not like. And now it's like literally this album should be taught in universities everywhere across the country. So Easy, what you got up for your last joint, bro?
But when they teach the album in universities, they got to make sure that they credit Beanie Sigel with the Die concept that he stole on that album too.
You said with the what concept?
The Die. Remember when Sigel did Die?
Yeah.
Kendrick bit that from Sigel on that album.
Yeah.
So when you do your little Professor Kill thing, make sure you point that out. Anyway, and he stole Busta Flow from Cocaine on that album too, but that's a whole other thing. Anyhow, so I had a few left. I'll run them down quick. I had E40 for obvious reasons. I think everyone knows why. I don't think anybody really fuck with E40 like that, in the beginning.
But what was the switch? What was the switch that turned it for you?
Yo, he just, when he did the Tell Me When to Go, man, I just came around.
That shit,
in that booty. I'm like, damn, I was just on my I just like that shit, man. He just had some joints I was rocking with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I've always respected, like, just his status. He's always been like, and he's big homie out there.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
He's OG, so it's like I've always respected that. But from a music level, like, I came around very, very late, Talib Kweli's another one. I did enjoy the Black Star album. I'm not on the Black Stars album as a classic boat. I'm not on that boat. I did enjoy it a lot, mainly because of Most. I thought Talib just kind of sounded, I don't know, I think it was like his voice maybe. I just thought it was kind of corny. And how I just felt like, it was again like with the flow thing. I just felt like a lot of his shit just sounded rushed. Like he was like rushing through his rhymes a lot.
Yeah, wow. he tries to fit in so many.
I was gonna say, he needs an editor. Like that nigga needs that nigga needs like a Twitter. We gonna say
thousand characters of bar.
Oh yeah, like that. I had a problem with that.
Where it's like, nigga, you get 120 characters per 16.
Oh my god.
Because like you were just trying to fit a whole paragraph into a 16, and it ain't fit.
But listen, when Train of Thought came around, forget about it.
It was a wrap.
It was over. I mean, obvious reasons. I think we all agree here that album is not is incredible. If it's not a classic. And my last one was actually Nipsey Hussle, not because I didn't rock with him, but I feel like he was out for a long time before he actually like did anything. Yeah. Not only like not necessarily pop.
I would always hear the name.
Exactly. And not necessarily like before he like necessarily pop, but I'm like I remember this guy wasn't like XXL freshman list and all that. But what has he done? Then the whole buzz about the Crenshaw came about, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like he's valid for sure. So it wasn't that I necessarily ever disliked Nip. It's just in the beginning I just wasn't really getting anything from him that made me want to fuck with him, you know what I'm saying? And then, when you fast forward the Victory Lap, that shit was, I've raved about that album since it dropped. I mean, I was definitely in the minority, but I love that joint.
Nah, I feel you. Nip is borderline one of mine because, again, like you said, the name was always out. You'd always hear it. But I got more put on the Nip for when I heard about what he was doing in the hood. You know what I mean? Like doing the STEM centers, like that's how I became a fan of them, because it was almost like mirroring what I'm trying to do out here in Southeast. Yeah. So like that. So even before I heard anything off of Victory Rap and then Victory Lab, and then when I heard the what is the first single? Y'all know, man. Get old. I was gonna say don't get old, but if you don't get old, then you die. So just know when you get old, it's gonna come with forgetting a lot of shit. Rap niggas. When I saw the video for Rap Niggas, I was good. Like, I just saw the video. I saw all the niggas, this nigga in Crenshaw. Then I saw the video for, God, what's the joint with him and Lauren when they robbed the bank? Hustle and Motivate. Yo,
that's my shit. That's my shit. That was my shit.
You know what I mean? So definitely Nip. Elise, what's up? Who you got left on your list? Do you have anybody else left?
I do. Mine is...
Oh, look, she pulled out that Black Star vinyl on me?
Yeah.
Is that the one I left over there the other night?
Oh, wait.
I had no. Okay, let me find. Do tell. Do tell.
Hey, that boy don't taste it.
Easy. Do
tell. You don't give it, you gotta take it, mama.
Easy one buying all your new vinyl, huh?
Oh man. Nah, I steal them for.
This dude a fool, yo.
I be stealing them shits.
No cap though, but he just didn't say so.
Oh, you did get it. I was gonna ask y'all that later.
I ain't get mine yet.
I left those are the ones I left there, you see?
I see. He's like, I got the receipts. He's like, I got the receipts now. I got the receipts.
I can't return.
No doubt.
But yeah. Oh, but my last one is Solange. Oh, and that's because the first stuff they're trying to put her on this, teeny bopper girl trajectory pop kind of thing. So the music was whack. Like, I mean, I don't go back and listen to the music now. Like, what? It had some joints. No. But then when she came out with the Soul Angel and the St. Halley Dreams,
crazy.
Out of here.
Crazy.
Out of the park. And I still run this album a lot. But
so do I.
Yeah, it's when I realized that she had her own distinct identity, and once they allow her, she figured out, no, I need to do this from my point of view and be true to me. Because she had already been writing and stuff for other people, and so for her to put this project together, and I love the concept, dope.
People sleep on her pen game. Like Solange has an ill pen game, and I'm right there with you. Tony, Dancing in the Dark would have been the one. I decided, Valentine's Day, it just keeps going. That album is so slept on. And the last two people I left was Jim Jones. Just never saw
the part.
That's it right there. Jim Jones, always just thought he was that dude with Cam, with the long hair. I never liked Ballin'. I was never no club nigga like that, so Ballin' didn't get me. But the El Capo album that Arsonist produced, Arsonist from the Heatmakers is one of my favorite producers out there, who nobody talks about. That album, I love that album. That El Capo is it. Then the other person I got is the brother Derek X, now known as Sadat X. But back when Brand Nubians first came out, I just was not feeling Derek X. I wasn't feeling his voice. I wasn't feeling his flow. It just didn't fit. But then by the time the All For One video came around, I listened to All For One for God knows how many times. I was like, yo, I get it now. And now actually Sadat X is probably my favorite one out of Brand Nubians now. Still respect Poopa for the gear and everything like that in the flow, but Sadat, I mean, his Black October album is one of my favorite albums that's out there. So yeah, definitely appreciate y'all for the show. Now let me just give a quick shout out. The R&B reps, these two people right here. I always tell people, if you want to learn about R&B, about soul music, and hear it from two people who know their shit, these are the two people who you need to rock with right there. So if you're not following them, please follow them ASAP. Because here's the thing. A lot of people follow me for hip-hop shit, but the bulk of hip hop comes from soul and R&B. You know what I mean? So when you really think about it, it's always how I challenge the youth. Like, how can you say you love hip hop, but you don't want to do no research on Bismarck? Like, how can you should want to do research. You know, I said the other day, you know, my man's in a fraternity. I'm like, dog, like if somebody went over in your fraternity, what they have to know about history? Like, of course. So if you want to be part of this hip hop fraternity, why wouldn't you want to know about the history? Why wouldn't you want to know about what Marley sampled for, you know, Make the Music With Your Mouth, which comes from a shirt that Elise has on right now with Isaac. You know, so again, this is what I'm talking about, where I'm always challenging people that if you love this culture, hey, we will accept you with open arms, but at the same token, you got to do your research, you got to do your knowledge, and it's starting with these two right there. When I have a question about anything, these are the two people I go to. You should be going to them too. Can y'all tell them a little bit about R&B reps, what y'all got going on, where they can get at you and everything?
I'm doing it.
Yeah. I'm gonna cut you off and interject. Well, we've met. Go ahead.
We met, right? You got it. All right. The R&B Reds. We just two people that dramatic as hell, that love R&B music, and we want to talk about the history. We also like to talk about the new stuff just as well. But we want to, you know, let you learn the history. You know what I mean? Because you got to learn that to get into the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's always something that came before the new stuff. So, you know, we, on our show, we have a show Catch That, where we talk about albums and we talk about songs that people pick, which is the Catch That Minis. But our recent episode that we have out is D'Angelo. And we did Brown Sugar, and we did that with artist B. Trenton. He's a new artist, B. Trenton, and we really got deep into it. Like we, you know, and we even took it back to Curtis Mayfield, Isaac Hayes. We took it back to Sly and the Family Stone and Prince. So we brought all of that into the episode just to show you the influences that D'Angelo had to make a body of work that he did, because he just didn't come off the top with it. He had to be inspired by something. So at the end of the day, we talked about that. And well, when this episode comes out, we're going to have a new episode, which is a Catch That Mini.
Yeah, can I tell this one?
Oh, go right ahead. Yeah, go right ahead. Go ahead.
And our next show is going to feature two Apartment 5B fam folks, and it's going to be your boy Easy Money and Rel. Next episode. So get ready.
When she says your boy Easy Money, she means her boyfriend.
There you go.
When you watch the episode, you
and yo, listen, and when you see the episode, we didn't talk about Justin Timberlake, so JR's not mad, all right? It's all love. It's all love, that episode. There's no Justin Timberlake conversation. I mean, JR was tight.
So y'all just follow us, the R&B Reps, on Instagram. Follow R&B Reps on Twitter. RBReps.com is our website. It'll direct you to everything. And just check us out, man. And just check out Naturally Elise on Instagram, Twitter, and JR's World of Soul on Instagram and Twitter as well.
All right. That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Neltron, where can they get at you, good brother?
I'm at Neltron 8000 on Twitter and Instagram.
All right. Easy Money. Dope MC, dope singer, does them both wonderful. Where can they get at you? Support. Where can they get the care package that Elise got? Where can they copy?
Oh yeah, I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere at Easy Money ST. You can hit me direct. I do have a website where I sell like this hat. Like I have a website where I sell clothing, but I don't have the CDs on there. So I'm at Easy Money ST everywhere. At least you got my home address. Y'all know what it is.
Well, I tell you, man. That's what I love about Twitter, man. People just connecting and just
it's a beautiful thing, man.
You see, Kill, and he added. You see,
no, because this is like the sitcom where the people are like, no, and then it's like Regine and what's his name? Who was the dude? on Living Single. Kyle and Matt. You know, it always be those relationships, and they end up. And we wake up in 2 years, and y'all having the R&B, Easy Money Wet. You know what I mean? So, like, this is how it always starts. This is how I've seen this TV show. I watched it. I saw how it ends. I've seen Living Single. You know, this is how it always ends, you know? So, all right, Easy, what's the website where they can buy the hats and the merch and everything?
EasyMoney978.com. Or you could just hit me direct. You know what I mean? That happens a lot, too. You know, like I said, at Easy Money. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
All right.
Cash App, Venmo, you know what I mean? I got a mouse to feed, you know what I mean? Send me some bread, fuck it.
Now, I feel, bro, Naomi about to go to college. I feel the same exact damn way. We need the money. Y'all know me. I'm an avid bookworm. It's my book of the week right here, Boys of Dunbar. This is about the basketball team, the 81-82 Dunbar Poets. Talking about Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Williams, David Wingate, Reggie Lewis.
Okay, wow.
Reggie Lewis. So this was their high school team. You see Muggsy right there in the middle, right there. So
you said Reggie Lewis?
Reggie Lewis, who died. Yep.
Damn, that was my man too, bro.
Wow.
Boys of Dunbar.
This book just came out, Kim?
Nah, this is old. I copped this. I think I copped this last time I was with you, and we was digging down at.
Right. Okay.
I copped this down there with you. Kill 889 Twitter, IG. You already know where to get at me. I will catch y'all next week, y'all.
They come around, but they never come close to.